and factual reporting. You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
5 o'clock.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Andrew Cannon. Coming up in the news at 5, PNP Patriots Organization calls for the resignation of Deputy Speaker Heroy Clark. Incorporated Master Builders Association of Jamaica, IMAJ, has expressed optimism at the government's commitment to include local contractors in the Spark program. Mayor of Falmouth, Colin Gager, says the Trelawney Municipal Corporation is working to tackle the problem of illegal businesses along the North Coast Highway. On the international scene, 4 hostages kidnapped by Hamas from the music festival in October and scores were rescued as scores of Palestinians were killed by Israeli attacks in the same area. While in sports, Jamaica's national senior men's football team will start favourites when they take on the Dominican Republic in their second match of the CONCACAF World Cup qualifier tomorrow. The details after this.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
The PNP Patriots, the Young Professionals affiliate of the People's National Party PNP, is calling for the resignation or immediate removal of Deputy House Speaker Heroy Clark. This follows what it describes as his reprehensible and defamatory remarks against opposition leader Mark Golding. According to the Patriots, Clark's baseless and unfounded insinuations conveyed via a recent WhatsApp message are deeply irresponsible and entirely inappropriate for a parliamentarian of his standing. Christopher Henry, president of the PNP Patriots, further stated that the comments made by Mr. Clark are an affront to the dignity of the House and the integrity of the country's democratic institutions. In demanding an apology from Mr. Clark to the leader of the opposition and his immediate resignation or removal from his position as Deputy House Speaker, Mr. Henry stated that such behaviour is unbecoming of any member of Parliament and undermines the respect, decorum and decency expected in the nation's legislative body. Opposition leader Mark Golding is threatening to sue the Deputy House Speaker for defamation. Mr. Clark is the MP for Central St. James. The allegation stems from a post purportedly written by Mr. Clark in a WhatsApp group. Lawyers representing Mr. Golding wrote to Mr. Clark demanding an unreserved written apology along with payment for damages. Nationwide News understands that a food poisoning incident took place on June 6 on the Specialized Operations grounds of the police force during a Level 2 tactical training. 7 officers are still being treated and their blood results are being awaited to further determine their condition. A constable was admitted to hospital with no life-threatening conditions and is awaiting a discharge notice. 3 members have been released and were sent back to the Specialized Operations branch. According to a summary of the incident, the officers from various divisions consumed lunches that were provided resulting in vomiting and diarrhea symptoms. They were rushed to a medical facility where the constable was admitted to the ward due to the severity of his condition. The incident report further stated that the affected officers were visited by the welfare director of the Jamaica Police Federation. The Incorporated Master Builders Association of Jamaica, IMAJ, has expressed optimism at the government's commitment to include local contractors in the $40 billion roadwork initiative dubbed the Spark program. Works Minister Robert Morgan made the remark on Thursday, following concerns from the group that most local contractors will be excluded due to pre-qualification criteria. President of the IMAJ, Richard Mullings, says his members are anticipating that they'll have access to a share of Spark.
The Master Builders Association notes the release by the minister. We can confirm that we did have a detailed meeting with the minister and we had discussed many of these issues. We do stand by our initial comments about how the program was structured, but we are optimistic that the minister's strong commitments for local engagement and locals being a part of the construction will be actioned by the relevant agencies.
Under Spark, each constituency is due to receive $150 million to undertake necessary road improvement projects. According to Minister Morgan, international contractors participating in the building process to execute the project are mandated to have local partners. Mr. Mullings says he hopes the government will not renege on its promise.
Successive administration for far too long have been too comfortable with having local contractors at a material disadvantage to their international counterparts. We expect that the government will use the project to showcase an improved approach to engaging Jamaicans, making them feel a part of the progress. And the association is looking forward to being a watchdog for this project.
Richard Mullings, president of the IMAJ. Mayor of Falmouth, Colin Gager, says the Trelawney Municipal Corporation is working to tackle the problem of illegal businesses along the North Coast Highway. Speaking at a media conference earlier this week, Mayor Gager announced a multi-agency operation targeting illegal businesses. The operation includes the police, the corporation's roads and works and public health departments, the National Solid Waste Management Authority, and the National Works Agency. Mayor Gager says there has been an increase in illegal businesses along the highway. He says the illegal operators are particularly found in the vicinity of Cooper's Pen and Rock. The NAA grants permits for businesses to operate along the highway. However, he says none of the existing structures meet specific guidelines. The mayor says notices have been served on all operators. The parish court has also ordered the demolition of one stall. Mayor Gager says no single offender is being targeted in the operation. Meanwhile, Councillor of the Richmond Division in South East St. Mary, Richard Creary, says some residents have identified a number of roads they want to be prioritised for repair under the $40 billion Spark programme. That's related to the Spark story earlier. A Spark consultation meeting was held at the Richmond Community Centre on Thursday. Councillor Creary says among the thoroughfares listed by residents was the Richmond to Bernard Road.
There are a number of roads that are priority, but I think the priority road out of that consultation was the road from Richmond to a community called Bernard. There were many roads mentioned, but I think that is definitely one of the priority roads among others. There's another road from Clark Castle that leads to a place called Border. That one featured prominently as well. There's a number of other roads, an area called Charlottenburg. That was another one. But there were several roads mentioned.
And Mr. Creary says the repairs to the roads in Castleton and Richmond could begin within a few months.
There's a procurement process taking place now. It is an international procurement for 4 packages. So once that procurement process is done and the final selections of roads are made, then I would imagine. But I've heard a timeline of somewhere within the next 6 months we should actually see work starting on the ground, perhaps even before then.
Richard Creary, Council for South East St. Mary. On the international scene, 4 hostages kidnapped by Hamas from the Nova Music Festival on the 7th of October have been rescued in a daylight raid in the central Gaza area as scores of Palestinians were killed by Israeli attacks in the same area. The Israeli Defense Force said the released hostages were all in good health and they were later pictured embracing family members at a medical center near Tel Aviv. It comes as dozens of Palestinians, including children, were killed on Saturday in the area where the operation took place. 2 hospitals in Gaza said they had counted 70 bodies between them, while Hamas's government media office said at least 110 people had been killed. Earlier, Israel Defense Forces spokesman Daniel Hagari said Kogat, the Israeli Defense Ministry body in charge of civilian policy in occupied West Bank and Gaza, estimated that there had been under 100 casualties. Let's now turn to sports because Jamaica's national senior men's football team will start favourites when they take on Dominica in their second match of the CONCACAF World Cup qualifier tomorrow. The Reggae Boys are coming off a 1-0 win against Dominican Republic in their opening match. Meanwhile, Dominica were hammered 6-0 in their first match. However, assistant coach of the Reggae Boys, Maran Gordon, says they are not underestimating their opponents.
We're not taking this game any lightly. This game is as important as any. Playing a top team in the world, and Dominica is doing well over the past few years, especially in Nation League. They're steadily building, so we're not taking anything for granted.
Maran Gordon, the assistant coach of the Reggae Boys. And now for a recap of the top stories making news at 5. PNP Patriots Organization calls for the resignation of Deputy Speaker of the House, Leroy Clark. Incorporated Master Builders Association, IMAJ, has expressed optimism at the government's commitment to include local contractors in the Spark program. Mayor of Falmouth, Colin Gager, says the Trelawney Municipal Corporation is working to tackle the problem of illegal businesses along the North Coast Highway. I'm Andrew Cannon. You can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store. News is next 9 tomorrow morning, but stay tuned because up next is Sports Nation Live with Wayne Walker and Alric Swaby.
Outperform, outlast, with top performance, Jackhammer, reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electrician. Fancy select tools, 3 parts and 3 repairs. 3 parts, 3 repairs. 2 to 3 years. Hilton, available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-6111-4. Delta Supply, we service what we sell.
This Father's Day, escape to the Pamper Temple for ultimate relaxation. Adam and Eve Day Spa. All treatments are infused to melt your tension and remove stress. Pamper Dad with a massage, facial, body treatment, and mani-pedi. Unwind at Adam and Eve and enjoy complimentary Pure Country juices and Johnny Walker. But now at www.adamandevedayspaja.com. Purchase gift certificates. Call 876-754-6017 or WhatsApp 876-567-2142 for details.
Okay, good afternoon. It's Saturday, June 8, 2024. If you bowl it, we'll hit it for 6. If you pass it, we'll score it. Give us a pool, we'll dive in. And as fast as the starters gun fires, we're at that finish line. I'm Alric Swaby. This is Sports Nation Live on Nationwide 90 FM, nationwidejm.com and Flow Channel 916. You can also tune in to our program live on our YouTube channel, Nationwide 90 FM. And remember to like, subscribe, and share our content. Coming up, we have another packed and exciting show lineup for you. We'll be talking track and field, hockey, football, and much more. But first, an athletics lesson from 1 Corinthians 9, verse 24.
1 Corinthians 9, verse 24. Do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize. Did you notice when reading this verse that it doesn't say you must win or you will win? It is actually telling us that the kind of effort and dedication victory requires. Competing with integrity is the key here. Anyone can cheat and win, but what does that do us morally? It's not about winning at all costs or abandoning your values to do anything it takes to win. This is telling us we need to perform at our absolute best and have the self-discipline to compete in a focused, well-practiced, and strategic manner. If we do that, we will perform in such a way that will be nearly impossible to beat. Will we get beat sometimes? Absolutely. However, in performing with honor, we can feel victorious even in a loss.
Okay, so that was our athletics lessons from 1 Corinthians 9, verse 24. Now in our feature, you just had to be there. We relive Bridget Foster Hilton winning the women's 100 meters hurdles final of the 2009 World Championships, with countrywoman Delarine Ennis-London taking the bronze.
We've got 5 Olympic finalists in this final, and it's going to be difficult to pick out a winner, but Dawn Harper of the USA is going to try and see if she can add the world title to the Olympic title she won 12 months ago. The women's 100-meter final for hurdles is packed full of talent. And Dawn Harper, not her best start. Foster Hilton got away well. Trouble for Patricia Felicien. And look at this, Foster Hilton is coming through. Foster Hilton and Lope Sleep. Lope Sleep and Foster Hilton. Foster Hilton's going to become the world champion. Lope Sleep, I think, got silver. 12.51. A slight following wind. Foster Hilton is the champion. Yes, she is. That went against the grain. Dawn Harper got her worst start in the round so far. So the Olympic champion does not get another title, but Bridget Foster Hilton, 34 years old, she got the title she so desperately wanted.
Well, she's asking, are you sure? And now she is. And now the tears can come, but they are tears of joy. And Bridget Foster Hilton doesn't always get it right. She's been close on many occasions, has been the Commonwealth champion. Two medals for Jamaica again. Ennis London taking the bronze behind Loeb Sleep. There wasn't much in it. Colin said there wouldn't be much in it. Brilliant run from Dervla Roke in fourth place as well. We'll clear all that up for you. Let's enjoy these scenes. It was always going to be about the first two hurdles, I think, you know, when it's getting into the race, and which Harper never really did. And Bridget Foster Hilton, I think Colin said if she can deliver it all the way to the end, because she starts so well, but she doesn't always manage to complete a race. This time at the World Championships, she's done that. And that's one happy athlete.
Okay, so that was our feature. You just had to be there where we live. Bridget Foster Hilton winning the women's 100 meters hurdles final at the 2009 World Championships, with countrywoman Delorine Ennis London taking the bronze. With that, we'll take a break and we'll come back with more here on Sports Nation Live.
Come into the parlor, there's a welcome there for you.
Welcome to the Mayor's Parlor with Desmond McKenzie.
From 1 to 6 p.m. every Sunday, you'll now get more of your favorite vintage music.
Put your head on my shoulder.
Nationwide 90 FM will transform your Sunday into a musical time machine that will take you way back.
Come with me, let's go back in time.
This magic moment.
Journey into yesteryear with Desmond McKenzie in the Mayor's Parlor.
I've got the music to jog your memory and make you smile.
Put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the best in vintage music.
Come into the Mayor's Parlor every Sunday between 1 and 6 p.m. here on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Those oldies but goodies reminds me of you.
Wake up and feast with Nationwide this morning as they broadcast from the CEO's Breakfast and Rebranding event hosted by the Jamaica National Agency for Accreditation, JANAC. Experience this event live as we come to you from the Talk of the Town suite at the Pegasus Hotel on June 11, 2024 from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. JANAC will unveil its refreshed brand identity and share a glimpse into its strategic goals to expand its global footprint. In commemoration of World Accreditation Day 2024, the agency will host the Assessor Conclave, a technical workshop which aims to expand the knowledge of assessors regarding accreditation issues. This will be held in the same room at the Pegasus Hotel from 10:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. That's a live broadcast of the CEO's Breakfast and Rebranding event hosted by JANAC on June 11 during Nationwide This Morning, 6 to 9 a.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Jamaica National Agency for Accreditation.
Okay, good afternoon and welcome back to Sports Nation Live. I'm Alric Swiby working out with Kevin Williams on the other side of the glass, my technical operator. and we'll be going over to the National Stadium to talk with Wayne Walker to give us the latest update on the JTA Sagicor Primary School Championships. Wayne, good afternoon.
Well, Alec, I'm not sure if you've joined me, but the noise inside the stadium here is still deafening. The announcer, the main presentation is now being made for the JTA Sagicor All-Ireland Primary Schools Athletics Championship. The main presentation is being made to the champions. The coach is in the midst of it, and I told the coach that I wanted to have a chat with him, and he's in the midst of it. So I'm gonna start the report, and hopefully you can see where I'm standing in the stadium. But we're struggling with the announcement. I was gonna say the noise, but in fairness, it's the announcement by the stadium announcer. But they've got a new champion this year because St. Thomas, they've come out on top with the 261 points. It's very, very cool here at the National Stadium. The championship came to an end just about 25, maybe 30 or so minutes ago, and St. Thomas are the new champions. They scored 261 points. They beat back the challenge of St. Elizabeth, 238. I understand it was a ding-dong battle between these two over the 2 days of championship here at the National Stadium. And St. Andrew was third. They made 230 points. St. Catherine, they were 216.5 points and completing the top five. Portland, 177.5 points. So the two parishes from the eastern end of the island, St. Thomas and Portland in the top five. St. Thomas at the top, Portland in fifth. And if I could just complete the remaining top 10 finishers, Manchester, they finished with 164 points. Westmoreland, they were 7th with 109 points. Trelawney were 8th with 87 points. St. Anne, 9th with 70 points. And Kingston were 10th with 64 points. We've got some sectional prizes as well to tell you about. But let me tell you about the overall champions in the male and female category. In fact, there was a three-way tie in both categories, and all ended up with 18 points, so they couldn't separate them. The top three in the girls section, Torian Townsend of St. Andrew, Danique Bernard of St. Andrew as well, and Romian Gray from Portland. So Danique Bernard is from St. Anne, Torian Townsend is from St. Andrew, and Romian Gray from Portland. Those are the top three girls, and they're tied for the Champion Girls Award. I'm trying to make my way over to the court, so if you hear the decibel go up a bit, just pardon me a bit because I want to get to talk to Mr. Andres Anderson. He's the technical leader for the St. Thomas team, and he's taking photographs and so on. So it's going to be a little bit difficult to grab a hold of him right now, but we're still standing by hoping to get a chat with him. So let me tell you about the champion boy, Jaquan Smith from Kingston, Daniel Walford of St. Thomas, and DeAndre Porter from St. Andrew. All ended with 18 points, and because of that, they were joined the champion boy, just like it is in the girls section, where three with 18 points came out on top. So a good victory here for St. Thomas. They had a real massive challenge from the St. Elizabeth team, but in the end, they prevailed, and it turned out to be Coach Andre, if I could just get a quick chat with you. We've got him here now. Congratulations. You're live on Nationwide, Mr. Andre Anderson. Congratulations on your victory here today.
Thank you.
Yeah. Who you dethroned? Who you dethroned to become champion?
St. Elizabeth, parish of St. Elizabeth.
You dethroned them or you beat them? Who are the champions from last season?
St. Elizabeth.
And you beat them back this year?
We beat them.
Yeah.
We beat them convincingly.
Right. That's what I'm seeing here. So tell me, what did it for you? What did it?
What did it? I would say teamwork. It would be a combination of teamwork, organization, and having the right people in the right areas.
Mm-hmm. Coming into the championship, how confident were you that you were going to be champions, or you could at least top of St. Elizabeth?
We were confident. But at the start of the day, things wasn't going to our plan. But nevertheless, after a meeting last night, we pulled through today.
Yeah. If we could just move Mr. Anderson a little away from the noise, because we might want to use this for another day as well. So let me ask you, how many athletes you brought to championships with you?
I brought 88 athletes.
Mm-hmm. And they're all from the parish of St. Thomas?
All from the parish of St. Thomas.
Mm-hmm. How were you able to sort of get, because they're from different schools,
yes.
How were you sort of able to get them together? Tell me the process of getting them together. having them now together, traveling to Kingston, trying to get to know each other, because teamwork makes the dream work, they say, and bonding is also important. Tell me about the whole process of getting here.
Well, the Jamaica Teachers Association has a process. So it's a simple you have the parish coordinator, and from the parish coordinator you have, in our parish we have 4 days. So from each day has a sports coordinator. Now, through communication via the sports coordinators, because the sports coordinator reach each school within their day, and I think we have 46 schools across the parish, which falls within the biggest day is Blue Mountain Valley. So at different periods of the month, each day would have a sports day. From that sports day, we select a team for each day. Then it brings those persons together for the parish combination, and out of the parish comes the parish team.
Folks, they're going to be having an entertainment package, so we're going to wrap this up very quickly because it's going to be very difficult to hear after a while. So, what's going to be from here on now? You're champions. You're going back to the parish. You're going to be celebrating what else?
Yeah, we're going to be celebrating. Then we have to sit down now and assess the way forward.
Thanks a lot, Coach, and all the best to you going forward, and congrats once again.
Thank you very much.
There you go. So that's Mr. Andre Anderson. He's the coordinator and the head coach of the St. Thomas team. They're going to be having an entertainment package here, Alric, and it's going to get crazy. You're not going to hear me one bit. So we're forced to cut that short, and we're going to be heading you back to the studio. When you hear from me next, I'm going to be coming to you from the Lever Robinson course. There is a rally that got underway today. We're going to check that out and give you the very latest. But that's what we have here from the National Stadium, from the JTA Sagicor All-Ireland Primary Schools Athletics Championship.
Okay, Wayne. All the best. Let me give you some, before we go to the break, let me give you some sports news, as Igor Swiatek achieved the rare feat of winning a third consecutive French Open women's title with a comprehensive victory over Italian 12th seed Jasmine Paolini. Poland's Swiatek continued her recent dominance on the Roland Garros clay with a 6-2, 6-1 win against first-time major finalist Paolini. The world number one trailed by an early break, but instantly hit back, winning 11 of the next 12 games to secure victory. It has secured 23-year-old Swiatek a fourth title in Paris and a fifth Grand Slam triumph overall after her victory at the 2022 US Open. So there you have it, Igor Swiatek winning the women's French Open title, beating Paolini comprehensively as well. Now the World Cup, T20 World Cup continues, and Australia, they recorded the first 200 of the tournament. They beat England by 36 runs. And let me bat in first. Australia, they made 201 for 7 with several batsmen making good start but not carrying on. Travis Head, he made 34. David Warner, he made 39. Mitchell March, the captain, he made 35. Glenn Maxwell, he made 28. Marcus Stoinis, he made 30. And there was Tim David with 11. Matthew Wade with 17 not out. So those are the batsmen that performed for Australia in their match against England at the Kensington Oval in Bridgetown, Barbados. Bowling for Australia, the top bowler was Chris Jordan with 2 wickets. Now there was Moeen Ali, Jaffer Archer. Apart from Archer, there was Adil Rashid and Liam Livingstone. They all took 1 wicket. 1 wicket each. And now batting for England, in their reply, you had Josh Butler. He top scored with 42. And then Phil Salt, he made 37. And Butler is the wicketkeeper and the captain. Moeen Ali, he made 25. Harry Brook, he made 20. And Liam Livingstone, he made 15. Now contributing 10 was Will Jacks, and Johnny Bairstow, he made 7, while Chris Jordan, he finished with 1 run not out. So batting first, Australia, they made 201 for 7, and England, they made 165 for 6 in their reply. So Australia, they made the first 200 in the ICC T20 World Cup, being hosted by the USA and the Caribbean. The top bowlers for Australia, Adam Zampa, he took 2 wickets. Pat Cummins, he also took 2 wickets, while Josh Hazelwood and Marcus Stoinis, they took a wicket each. So that's what's happening in World Cup cricket. Australia versus England at the Kensington Oval in Bridgetown, Barbados. So Australia making the first 200 in the World Cup. Earlier, Netherlands, they played South Africa. South Africa won by 4 wickets with 7 balls to spare. Netherlands, they made 103 for 9. South Africa, they made 106 for 6. Let me give you the scorecard. Now batting first, Netherlands, they made 103 for 9, as I said earlier, off their 20 overs. The batsman for the Netherlands, Michael Levitt, he made a duck. Max O'Dowd, he made 2. Vikramjit Singh, he made 12. Engelbrecht was the top batsman with 40. Basdi Lead, he made 6. The captain and wicketkeeper Scott Edwards, he made 10. Teja, he made a duck also, 23. Logan van Beek, he made 23. So those were some of the batsmen for the Netherlands. And the wicket takers for South Africa, Othniel Bartman, he took 4 wickets. Anrich North, he took 2 wickets, while Marco Johnson, he took 2 wickets. So that's how it played out as it relates to England. South Africa batsman David Miller, he led with 59 not out. He got support from Tristan Stubbs, 33. So those were the only 2 batsmen in double figures. Reza Hendricks, he made 3. Henrik Claassen, he made 4. While Marco Johnson, he made 3. Now the bowlers for Netherlands, so you have Vivian Kingma, he took 2 wickets. So those are some of the standout players in the match between the Netherlands and South Africa, with South Africa winning by 4 wickets. Netherlands, they made 103 for 9 off their 20 overs, while South Africa, they made 106 for 6 off 18.5 overs. With that, we take a break and we come back with more here on Sports Nation Live.
Variety is the spice of life. That's not just true for entertainment, it's true for investing too. While stocks, bonds, and cash are effective, there are other credible investment options out there. These are alternative investments, ranging from digital options like cryptocurrencies to old school investments like gold, real estate, and private equity. You can invest on your own or via a fund with a curated portfolio of investment options.
Visit barita.com/opportunities for more growth coach insights.
Get ready for a show like no other. That's right. Every Sunday from 8:15 p.m. to 9:15 p.m., we're bringing you the Harvest Hour, only on Nationwide 90 FM. Join us as we dive into a soothing religious program created for your mind, body, and soul. The World Harvest Mission Church, creators of the Harvest Hour, is dedicated to making your Sundays God-fearing and saintly. Get a front row seat to moving sermons and affectionate worshiping. That's the Harvest Hour, every Sunday from 8:15 p.m. to 9:15 p.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Wake up and feast with Nationwide this morning as they broadcast from the CEO's Breakfast and Rebranding event hosted by the Jamaica National Agency for Accreditation, JANAC. Experience this event live as we come to you from the Talk of the Town suite at the Pegasus Hotel on June 11, 2024 from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. JANAC will unveil its refreshed brand identity and share a glimpse into its strategic goals to expand its global footprint. In commemoration of World Accreditation Day 2024, the agency will host the Assessor Conclave, a technical workshop which aims to expand the knowledge of assessors regarding accreditation issues. This will be held in the same room at the Pegasus Hotel from 10:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. That's a live broadcast of the CEO's Breakfast and Rebranding event hosted by JANAC on June 11 during Nationwide This Morning, 6 to 9 a.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Jamaica National Agency for Accreditation.
Okay, good afternoon and welcome back to Sports Nation Live. I'm Alric Swiby, working with Kevin Williams on the other side of the glass. We'll be talking some cricket now as West Indies will look to secure their second consecutive win of the ICC T20 World Cup when they take on Uganda at the Providence Stadium in Guyana tomorrow. Both teams are coming off victories in their openers, both over the same opponents, Papua New Guinea. The West Indies are odds on to make it to two in a row as they seek a third hold on the world title, while Uganda will look to build on their historic first ever win at the World Cup. Ruston Chase, who starred in the win over Papua New Guinea, says the West Indies must limit the number of dot balls when they bat.
It's a World Cup, so you can't underestimate any team. Every team is as strong as any other team, so we just come in to play them full potential. But I just think for us, it's a case where we have to improve our dot ball percentage, especially in the middle overs. The pitch is a difficult one that we played on in the first game, so I think it's a case where we just need to don't panic too quickly, just try to stabilize the middle overs because we have a lot of power in the back end to kind of make up for it. So it's just a case where we just need to get a few singles more, ones into twos and stuff like that, and then just launch in the back end.
Ruston Chase, meanwhile, 23-year-old Kitian Michael Lewis has forced his way into the West Indies 15-man squad for a 3-test tour of England starting next month. Lewis set the regional 4-day tournament alight this season with 2 centuries in his 682 runs for the Leeward Islands Hurricanes in his debut first-class season. Now joining us to talk more about the World Cup and the West Indies test squad is Joseph Reds Pereira, veteran cricket commentator. Reds, good afternoon and welcome.
Yes, good afternoon to all. Just on the weather front, that I had a call from Jamaica earlier. A friend of mine, Patrick Terrelong, said that he had a call about possibility of 50% of rain Well, there was rain mid-morning, but I just spoke to Sean Devers, who was already at the ground at Providence, and he said since 11 o'clock it's been bright sunshine and play as far as he knows. Although the umpires haven't said anything, but it appears the covers are off. Play will start on time. Back to your question of the team to England.
Let's start.
No surprise at all. I wasn't expecting Chandra Paul to be selected after a dismal tour of Australia, and more important, after a dismal, very poor one century against the Windward. The rest were all innings where he was on 2 after 50 deliveries and not going anywhere. I wasn't surprised that he was out. I am happy about the introduction of the young man from St. Kitts, Kelly Louis, 600 plus runs, and we wish him very success. McCaskey, the young Barbadian who has been around with the West Indies A team, he's been scoring runs. He gets an opportunity, and there are no other surprises. The one surprise is, to me, the keeping of Azari Joseph as vice captain. I think a vice captain must be a surety. A vice captain must be a solid part. You know, the great Sir Frank Worrell, he had Conrad Hunt, Clive Lloyd. So Clive Lloyd had Derek Murray. And we can go down the line. Brian Lara had Ronnie Sarwan. I think the West Indies made an error. First of all, with Blackwood being appointed captain when, you know, he wasn't a certainty and he didn't command his place. But back to the squad, good squad. I was hoping they would have had at least 2 practice matches before the first test. But we're hearing that there'll be only one and maybe a couple of days of specific long-term training sessions. But that is my response to the team. Good team. I expect them to have a fair amount of firepower, with Seals doing well in England, joining Roach, Shamar Joseph, and of course Holder and Azari Joseph. They make up a fairly decent attack. They got a ball a line, they got a ball a length. We have to feel well and we have to bat well.
Right. Speaking of batting well, Louis, he would have come in on after his superb performance in the regional competition. Should he gets a cap? Should he gets to start in any other games? How much pressure you think will be on him to perform?
Well, he's got to take the confidence of the fact that he made runs in the local 4-day competition. They might well not. In fact, Braffett may not captain the side in the opening game. I'm sorry we don't have 2 practice matches, I said, but Braffett could be left out. They could decide that they're going to play 12, and therefore both McCaskey and, of course, Hillary could play. And I would think that will be the area they will be looking for. Depending on the pitch, they can decide whether they'll play both spinners in Sinclair or Moti. And that's just about the little blocks they have to tick.
Right, and you believe since this is his debut in the West Indies squad, Louis, they will start him in the first test?
Well, I mean, they don't have Chandrapal, so they have to open with a new cap. It's either Louis or it's McCaskey. You know, if you had Chandrapal, you would have started with him, but they will have to start with one of 2, Louis or McCaskey. Those are the 2 openers, along with, of course, the captain Brackett.
Right. Now, when you look at both, if you were choosing the starting level, which of these 2 would you choose to start with?
Well, you have to go with the man who starred in the 4-day season. You have to go with the Kittition, who becomes the first Kittition to play for the West Indies. Joey Benjamin, who is also a Kittition, had one test match. He was a Surrey bowler. He played one test and he played for England. But he becomes, once he is named and the toss is spun, he becomes the first Kittition. Of course, there'll be a number of people from Nevis who have played for the West Indies. I don't have to reel off those names, but I expect that he will start.
Shamar Joseph, we'll get to see him in action again in the test arena after his exploits in Australia. I'm sure now the England batsmen will be aware of him. He won't be a surprise player as he was in Australia. Are you expecting, from what you would have? Would haven't seen him in a lot of games, even when he played in the IPL. But what are you expecting him to be as devastating in England conditions as he was in Australia?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the word conditions, Alric, because conditions will, in fact, be different. But if you can bowl fast, you can bowl fast on a waterbed. What's important that you bowl the right line, you bowl the right length, and you don't bowl short and wide. So you bowl short, you can be pulled in wide, you can be slapped through square cover off the back foot through backward point. He's got to simply remember what he did in Australia, what made him successful. Don't get carried away by trying to bowl too fast, too quickly, and understand the conditions in the short space of time that he will be in England. Now, not too many people in that side has had experience playing in England at the first-class level. Bradford has played at the first-class level. You've had, of course, Jason Holder has played at the first-class level. De Silva has played at the first-class level. But not too many have had experience in English conditions. So, that is important. But Shamar Joseph is the key to the West Indies attack. The encouraging performance of Seals from Trinidad in the counties, the experience of Holder, hard luck to Greaves. Greaves did very well in Australia. He's the one man I thought, just got left out when he had done everything to play. But that's my take on the team.
Right. And you mentioned Seals. He has been doing well in the county championships over there in England. How valuable will his experience be, especially to a young Shamar Joseph, just to share what to expect from the wickets at the various venues?
Most important that he did well in his county stint. And as you said earlier, that we're watching Shamar Joseph, Australian recordings of the test match, no doubt. And they will be looking at Seals very carefully. In fact, they were keeping their eye on Roach once he's included as a senior bowler. And Azari Joseph got to get it right, because when you look at his figures after so many test matches, he hasn't quite, he hasn't quite driven fears into the minds of batsmen. He's had, I think, 1 or 2 5-wicket hauls. He's promised so much, but by now he should be really leading the attack. And there's a tendency for him to lose his cool very quickly, shows a lot of annoyance. He's very competitive, no doubt, but he does, in fact, show that he gets upset a little bit with his own bowling, bad feeling, or catching.
Right. Let's look at the ICC World Cups that is underway a bit now. First up, Australia would have produced the first 200 of the tournament, beating England by 36 runs. They made 201 for 7, restricting England to 165 for 6. When you look at their performance so far, is Australia the team to beat at this World Cup?
Well, right now you probably could maybe put Australia and India on performance. Australia and India on performance. But I certainly thought that England made an error today. Mm-hmm. England made an error today at the start of the innings by bowling Jack. They decided, well, they're two left-handers. So we start with two off-spinners. Moeen Ali is a very experienced off-spinner, but I don't believe that young Jack, carries that. And he went for quite a few. If you look at him, his first over cost 22 runs, and that gave Head and Warner a flying start. They put on a pretty good partnership. When Warner went 70 for 1, it was on 4.6 overs. Right. So certainly they, you see this thing about matchup, that off spinners must bowl in this new era. Some commentators talk about matchup all the time. Well, matchup certainly didn't work today, although there were two left-handers. And according to some commentators, once there are two left-handers, an off-spinner must bowl to them. It just backfired, and Australia just got away. Wood was very expensive. I mean, his 3 overs cost 32 runs. He went at over 10. Jack went at over 22. Rashid went at over 10. Jordan went over 11. Livingston, maybe he should have bowled a bit more, 2 overs, 1 for 15. But 201 was very, very competitive, and although England had a good start with Salt 37, Butler 42, and there was not much more to shout about in England, as you pointed out, 165 for 6. Australia now leads the actual group. England has only got 1 point.
Right. Tell me, USA beating Pakistan and Canada beating Ireland. When you look at the makeup of these teams, these teams, USA and Canada, that is, they're made of makeup of players from India, Pakistan, Ireland, who migrated to Canada and USA. Like I said, when you look at the makeup of the teams, would you consider it an upset for USA to beat Pakistan and Canada to beat Ireland?
Yes, I mean Ireland is an ICC test playing country. They've been playing the shorter format of the game for a very long time. They came to the West Indies and beat the West Indies here. I think it's a great deal for Canada cricket that they have picked up their first win. It should do a lot. It should attract sponsorship. It should attract a number of players to work even harder. They will probably get more exposure and maybe some of their players will play a lot of franchise cricket. Yep, and I think the really big surprise so far has been the victory by the USA over Pakistan. Pakistan doesn't seem to have a settled side. You get the impression that that all is not well in the house of Denmark, which is an old saying.
Right.
They've been changing captains. They are back to Babar Azam, and they didn't get the kind of runs you really needed to present USA. You needed I mean, in these days, 180 isn't, you're in a happy position, but they fell well short, 159, and there are some batsmen in the U.S. side, the young man from Barbados, the number 3 from South Africa. I think that in the Super Over, I was surprised that Rizwan and Barbara Azam didn't in fact open for Pakistan. They are the two most experienced players.
Right.
They've got tremendous ability to hit the ball long, and I'm surprised that they open. I also thought that the opening attack was badly chosen in the Super Over. But Pakistan is going to try and rebound, but they're really up against it. They play against India tomorrow on a pitch which so far has been maybe just too bowler-friendly. And the description of the pitch against the Irish, it was dangerous. So we wait and see how whatever adjustments that they have to make, but India are going to start by big favorites. It's a game Pakistan has got to win if it's possible to stay in the competition.
Right. And speaking of that pitch, what do you make of it from what you have seen watching?
Well, I was on a talk show with a U.S. organization. It's one of these drop-in pitches, but it doesn't seem to have settled down. Maybe it was put down too late. And I remember in 1978 when I went to the World Series, the Kerry Packer tournament, the drop-in pitches, they played a number of matches before they played an official match.
Right.
And maybe this drop-in pitch, there's no problem with others. Others seem to have worked. But I see in the last 48 hours, they were doing all kinds of things. I think they've taken off all the grass. They've probably added some moisture to try and slow it down. So we'll be able to judge on Sunday when Pakistan play India.
Right. West Indies, they'll be playing their second game of the tournament. They'll be going up against Uganda. Judging from what persons would have said was a nervous start in their first match, what are you expecting, and what West Indies will have to do to make their mark known?
I'm expecting a different attitude, a totally different attitude. I'm expecting some changes, but whether the selection panel will make those changes, I do not know. But definitely Brooks has got to come in and open the innings with King, as an armchair selector. And King and Hope need to open the innings. I said Brooks, I must apologize. King and Hope need to open the innings. And they've got to get Sharma, Joseph, or McCoy, or both in. And they may face a situation where they may have to consider leaving out Shepherd, who can come in and hit a 6-ball 32. Right. But he also has been on the expensive side. He's bowling at the death. Joseph has not been all that impressive, but sometimes selectors have to make the hard decisions. Will they make those hard decisions, or some people feel, well, they won with the last team, so let's go with the last team. Last team, really made a very hard job of winning. I mean, we took 19 overs because of indiscipline, because of lack of patience in batting. Quite a number of players gave their hands away, and we took it down to the 19th over to make 138. That doesn't seem to be a side that is being linked to getting into the semifinals, without too much of a problem.
Right. You think Uganda has the quality to upset a West Indies?
No, I don't think so. But I expect the West Indies to win. But it's how are we going to win? We need to have had a major win against Papua New Guinea, losing very few wickets, using very few overs, and building up our net run rate. Our net run rate has gone nowhere, right? Nowhere at all. And we need to make sure that we do the reverse against Uganda. Now, Uganda has had 2 games at Providence, so they're probably gaining a little bit of confidence. They've seen the West Indies play against Papua New Guinea, so maybe Phil Simmons can talk them into really playing the game of their life. But I expect the West Indies to win. How are they going to win? We just have to wait to see how they perform.
A number of teams has former West Indies players as consultants and coaches. Does that take away any advantage from the regional side? And how you think that will help those sides, England and others, who have consultant and coaches from the West Indies?
Well, I think this is an area where people have, after they have retired from playing, and they are not coaching their national teams, in the case of Bravo or Pollard, for example, or Simmons, for example, they are then available to all the sides playing in the 2024 competition to use their knowledge of conditions, to use their knowledge of players that they have sold out. They've turned their backs in the West Indies. They haven't done so at all. They have a life to earn money. They have to earn a living. And if, in the case of Bravo, Afghanistan feels that advisor on players, and advisor on situations, advisor conditions. Same thing for Pollard, who is, I think, one of the batting coaches. I don't say anything wrong at all, but I mean, if you look at the England side is being coached by an Australian. Mm-hmm. The Pakistanis are being coached by a South African, and you can virtually the Afghan team is being coached by a former South African-born player. Right. So it's part of the present cricketing world. Years ago, it would have been a national coaching the national team. That doesn't happen anymore.
Right. Well, tell me what's your impression as it relates to fans in the stands?
Well, today, I mean, you had a record crowd. All 80%, according to Michael Otterton, turned up at the Kensington Oval. Mm-hmm. But you aren't going to have 80% every day in the Caribbean. The crowds in the U.S. have been bigger. The crowds in the U.S. are bigger, and that comes down to the promotion, that comes down to the population, and there's a lot of people who have migrated from India and Pakistan and Sri Lanka and all those people in the subcontinent. They now reside. Some have traveled to America after hearing about the draw, but the discussion in the Caribbean is cost of tickets.
Right.
I mean, for example, the Afghan West Indies match in St. Lucia is $47. $47 US. You can help me. Give me a guesstimate, Alric. 47 is well, 50 is how many Jamaican dollars?
Well, at 130 something to one here. I mean, that's a lot of dollars.
Exactly.
Right. So
I mean, it's what an average person is working for.
Right. So
Can he take his son? There's a feeling that the prices have been a tad high, and the prices will get higher as we go into the next phase of the tournament. So we just have to wait and see. I mean, the crowd last night was just over average in Guyana for what should have been really a ring dinner of a game.
Right.
Turned out to be almost a no contest with New Zealand and Afghanistan. New Zealand didn't seem to want a practice match. They didn't seem to prepare. I mean, one commentator said that one player have not played any cricket for 3 months.
Wow.
Which was in fact surprising. So they have left for Trinidad, and I'm sure that they will be practicing and practicing, because that's one of the most embarrassing performances by New Zealand in any 2020 international. But the feeling is, and it was also similar to 2007, Rick, where it was felt that the prices of tickets were too high.
Mm-hmm.
And, maybe the ICC has got it wrong again. There seems to be a feeling that the prices are okay, the turnout is bad, the prices are too high. People are waiting to see who will go into the second round. That's the kind of discussion going on in the Eastern Caribbean. But imagine, Rick, if you had a match, let's say, between Papua New Guinea and someone at Sabina Park. I mean, how many Jamaicans? How many Jamaicans will turn up at Sabina Park?
Right. Especially with teams that they're not very familiar with.
Exactly.
Right, and well, tell me something. You mentioned that the crowds in the USA has been bigger than that of the Caribbean. One of the reasons for having USA co-host this tournament was to try and tap into that US market, North American market. Tell me, from what you would have seen, is it working?
Yes, I think so. I think that last year they had their own franchise and they had record crowds. Already we are seeing for the second time the franchise will appear next year, or whenever it's going to maybe start after the World Cup. They are already signing up players. Like Stonis has gone to one of the franchise. So I think cricket will get stronger and better in the West in terms of franchise cricket, in terms of players being paid money. I'm not too sure what is going to happen with the national U.S. team. That will depend on the kind of money that they have to invest in getting them to make tours. You know, they need to go off and do the hard work in Bangladesh and do the hard work in South Africa if they're going to get any better. But, you know, many years ago, Rick, even maybe before you started to work in sport, the West Indies Cricket Board was offered the opportunity to be in charge of cricket in North America under the West Indies banner.
Right.
And they didn't take the opportunity. And slowly but surely we saw Sri Lanka starting to tour and matches were played against American teams and other teams went there. So it's an opportunity lost that cannot be ever turned back.
Right. Okay, then, Ambrose, again, thanks so much for stopping by and talking with us. We wish you all the best, and we look forward to hearing more from you as the tournament continues.
one question to you. Is there radio commentary? Because there's no radio commentary we are hearing in St. Lucia. Are you hearing radio commentary?
No, we haven't been hearing any radio commentary. But
Yes, well...
we have been following mostly on the television.
Yes, I heard a comment from someone from Trinidad about the radio commentary, but since I haven't heard it, I wouldn't repeat what that person said. And good night to all, and I think as we go forward, the quality of the games will in fact get better and better. The Trinidad hosting the New Zealand, West Indies, and Afghanistan, West Indies here is going to be very important game because only two can go forward.
Right.
And Afghan has really put their foot across the line, and the way they're going. The opening partnership is dynamic. Gorbaj is something else. He has played for the Guyana Amazon Warriors, and he demonstrated then that he was a good player. He has probably gotten better in experience. So we'll have to wait and see what next week will bring and what tonight will bring at Providence. It starts at 7:30 Jamaica time.
Okay, then, words again, thanks much and all the best.
Okay, good night to all.
Blessings.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so that was veteran cricket commentator Joseph Reds Pereira. We'll take a break and we'll come back with more here on Sports Nation Live.
My dad is not just a regular dad.
I'm the G, my charge.
The real big man. That's why we salute the boss.
It's not always easy to show that how much you love him, but for this Father's Day, say thank you to your boss dad with a gift from Fontana Pharmacy. Stop by any of our 6 locations to shop from a wide variety of products or shop online at fontanapharmacy.com now through Father's Day. Fontana Pharmacy, it's all good inside.
Come into the parlor, there's a welcome there for you.
Welcome to the Mayor's Parlor with Desmond McKenzie.
From 1 to 6 p.m. every Sunday, you'll now get more of your favorite vintage music.
Put your head on my shoulder.
Nationwide 90 FM will transform your Sunday into a musical time machine that will take you way back.
Come with me. Let's go back in time.
This magic moment.
Journey into yesteryear with Desmond McKenzie in the Mayor's Parlor.
I've got the music to jog your memory and make you smile.
Put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the best in vintage music.
Come into the Mayor's Parlor every Sunday between 1 and 6 p.m. here on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Okay, good evening. Welcome back to Sports Nation Live. I'm Alex Swaby, working with Kevin Williams on the other side of the glass. We'll be talking some football now as Jamaica's senior men's football team will be looking for back-to-back wins in the CONCACAF World Cup qualifier when they take on Dominica tomorrow. The Reggae Boys opened their tournament with a 1-0 win over the Dominican Republic. Now, assistant coach of the Reggae Boys, Marion Garden, spoke with the media ahead of the game.
Warm welcoming from the people. We can see that Jamaica have good ties here, and we're looking forward for the game. Last game was a tough one. Most of the players, had their last game a month ago for their club teams, so kind of rusty. But the most important thing, we got 3 points, and we move on to this game.
I would just like to find out, in terms of your preparation for Dominica, what has that been like in terms of preparing for this Dominica game tomorrow?
Wow. Preparing for these games started probably 3-4 months ago, as soon as we got the draw. We do a lot of extensive work on every team, and we're not taking this game any lightly. This game is as important as any playing a top team in the world, and Dominica is doing well over the past few years, especially in Nation League. They're steadily building, so we're not taking anything for granted.
We've not seen Jamaica in, let's say, the World Cup finals over several years. Are you considering this and maybe looking at this with a view to making it straight through this time around?
Considering, I think if we don't make it to this World Cup, the people of Jamaica will kill us. It's a tough one, but everybody want the spots, especially because the so-called big boys are out of it. They are qualified automatically, but everybody have the same dream and hope like Jamaica, so it's going to be tough for us. And we are kind of the flag bearers for the Caribbean, and so playing against any Caribbean team is always tough for us. But we're looking forward for the challenge, and hopefully we can take this team to the World Cup.
I'd just like you to comment on some suggestions I've heard out there that your last match against Dominican Republic, where you won 1-0 a few days ago, some people felt that was not the Jamaica team, the Jamaica of old. Can you comment on this?
We had a few injuries. We didn't hide anything. Everything was on social media. There were a few injuries of some of our main starters, and but it was a good opportunity for young players to showcase themselves, and I think they acquitted themselves well, especially our changes. We brought in a few young players, and they came on and put some life in the game. We got a few more chances. The game could have finished more than just a goal, but such is football. And as I said before, the 3 points was the most important thing.
For the Dominicans who don't know too much about this Jamaica team, what are you bringing to Dominica this weekend?
Team togetherness. That's what we're building for the last 2 years. How structurally disciplined we can be, because if you want to do well in tournaments, defensively you have to be very good. So that is something that we're really, really working on, and I think little by little it's coming to forth.
Can you give us an idea what your composition is like in terms of overseas-based players compared to local players? What is that like?
Without giving out too much, the squad will be the same as we have the last game in Dominica, and then we'll choose against Dominican Republic, and so we'll choose from that squad, to find our best 11 for tomorrow.
My final question, you can answer, you don't have to. What are you looking at? 1-0 against Dominica, 2-0, 3-0, what are you looking at?
3 points.
3 points.
Yes, sir.
Before we do the handover, coach, as you're aware as well, you have a Jamaican community within Dominica as well, and an opportunity for them to see the national team onshore on the island as well.
Yeah, man, so this is a big call out, all the Jam Dong fans, Jamaican fans, come out and support us with your flags, the pot covers, and we celebrate.
Yeah, we know there's a great relationship, as you said earlier, between Dominica and Jamaica. There's always a friendly type of relationship. And we know that match is a very important match, and you said you're not going lightly at all. But we realized the match against the Dominican Republic, you won 1-0. It was a very tough match, as you said. But traveling one time to play in 2 days, how hectic it had been in terms of traveling and coming to play right away and just only getting a few sessions before the next match?
Moving across the Caribbean is one of the biggest challenge for all Caribbean teams. You guys played 1 day before us, and the travel for you guys were also tough. So I can't use that as something to hinder us from performing, because both teams had traveling problems. I think we came in a little bit easier than you guys, but probably on the same day. So, but we're just looking forward for a good game tomorrow.
And my final question, how confident are you against that big Dominica team and the crowd?
We're confident, if we really want to go to 2026, we have to be confident about every game, not just this one. And, but as I said, we're very humble in how we approach things. We can't be overconfident. We have to keep your feet on the ground in order to get 3 points against any team, especially teams that are fighting for spots to go to a World Cup.
Finally, what will be the approach of the Jamaica team against Dominica? Fast-paced game, or you're going to be taking your time to look at Dominica? What is that going to be like?
I think tomorrow will be the best time to see that.
Coach, there's a few questions from Jamaica as well. The reports from the medical team, report, how we're looking in terms of all players available for selection for tomorrow.
Yeah, man, all players are available for selection. As I said, some of the guys didn't play football for probably a month plus before coming to the game, so a little bit sore here and there. But the medical team is working overtime to get everybody ready for tomorrow.
Coach, just a question to you. Dominica lost 6-0 against Guatemala. In terms of complacency heading into this match, what has been the message to your players?
Complacency. As I said earlier, we are, should I say, the team in the Caribbean that most people look up to, most people want to beat, and I'm not looking at that 6-0 game to compare what tomorrow will bring. I know the footballers from Dominica will come tomorrow, guns blazing. They're at home, want to win back their support from the supporters. So I think it's going to be a tough one.
Okay, so that was assistant coach of the Reggae Boys, Marion Gordon. Now, Reggae Boys defender Damien Lowe also shared his thoughts on tomorrow's match.
Firstly, Damien, we've arrived safely in Dominica. How has it been today, settling in and recovering?
It's been good. It's a really good hotel resort. Kind of always want to take your mind off of football, especially on a rough day, long travel day. So today, half the team went out. We didn't get as much minutes, get some touches on the ball, get back their sharpness, and then most of the first team guys just did some recovery. But yeah, day well spent. I think the guys really appreciated the time off, and then back to work tomorrow.
And for you personally, reflecting a little bit on Thursday, talk to me a little bit about, the pride, putting on the armband, and also being able to once again don the national colours.
Yeah, it's the highest honour for me personally. I always want to represent my country at the highest level, especially knowing the history, with my family and stuff like that. But wearing the armband, I think it's the highest, honour when it comes to representing your nation, and I always look forward to it. I always take it with much proudness and happiness, and just try to go out there and lead from the front and make the nation proud.
Yeah, as you know, another game tomorrow, quick turnaround, your thoughts, looking forward to it, as this is your second World Cup qualifying cycle with the team.
Yeah, as I told the guys before, away games are 6 points, So, and points get us to the World Cup. So being away, try to get the 3 points. We're not going to underestimate anyone. This is CONCACAF football and anything is possible, but we're focused, and we know it's always going to be a tough task. Once you're a Jamaican, regardless of any room that you step in, any pitch that you step on, everybody wants to beat us. So just have to go out there and stay focused, get the job done, finish this round with 6 points and top of the group, and we just go from there.
And finally, Damien, as you know, June is an interesting month. As you know, after these World Cup qualifiers is the Copa America. How excited are you ahead of the summer that lies ahead?
Yeah, there's a lot of football to be played, but we just have to be mindful of the body and take care and be good professionals and make sure that we're recovery and everything as well. But yeah, I know we have a lot of injuries too, about 5 or 6 injuries, but hopefully we have those guys back for the Copa America. But exciting times ahead for the national program and us personally. I know a lot of guys dream to play in a big tournament with the likes of Brazil and Argentina. So we're qualified for it, and it shows that we're making good strides, and we just have to continue to build.
Damien Lowe. Meanwhile, head coach of the Dominica national team, Ellington Sabin, says they are eager to bounce back from their 6-0 defeat from their opening match.
I'd like to just invite Mr. Sabin just to say a few words, and then we'll open up the floor to the rest of the public. Thank you, Mr. Sabin.
Good morning, everyone. As Gavin knows, I am not a person of a lot of words. I like to stick to the point. So, as I would just like to welcome the Dominican public and encourage them to come and support the national team, giving the same energy that the Guatemalan supporters give to the Guatemalan team. Probably not the same method, but the same energy. And we just ask that you come and support us, because we're going to try and do our best to bring home a positive result. The preparation from February up until 2 days before departure was ideal. After that, we had some hiccups, but we will seek to make amends for that, and like I say, be competitive and try and bring home a positive result.
What is the mood of the camp like at this time as we speak?
Upbeat and looking forward to the game, and like I say, we're going to make it a competitive game tomorrow.
For those who are still wondering what happened in the last match, could you at least sum up what it was like for the Dominica team in terms of performance? What were some of the difficulties that you encountered playing away from home?
Well, getting there, like we all saw on social media and other mediums, was challenging, so that posed a difficulty for the players. And even when we managed to get there, we arrived late, and when game time came, we were received by hostile crowds and insulting remarks, so even that played a part with the players' performances. Also, the altitude at which we played was kind of challenging. Some of the players were complaining of tight chests and so on. So it's one event after the other that contributed to the overall performance. I mean, this is not the team that I saw train from February up until the game, so it was kind of surprising, but understandable that given the circumstances they had to overcome, it posed a challenge to them.
You said that the team is in high spirit now as we speak. We're in high spirit ready for tomorrow?
Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, you never dwell too long on your last result as a team or as a coach. I mean, the game is gone already, you lost the game. It's not a result that you would have wanted, but it's reality that it happened. So now we're just moving on to the next game, focused on the next game, and looking forward to playing the next game tomorrow in front of home fans and a wonderful home crowd, we're hoping.
Generally speaking, on the eve of a match like this, a World Cup qualifier, what would be happening? Would the team be in a camp somewhere? What would be happening to your team just hours before a World Cup qualifier?
Well, the team is in camp now. They got some hours off last night just to refocus and reassess themselves and what they want to do. And they were back in camp this morning very early, so now everybody's in camp. And we're just looking forward to the game. We have a training session this afternoon and then the game tomorrow.
What would be the focus of the team for tomorrow's match? What are you asking them to do tomorrow?
Bring the fight to the opponents and remain competitive.
Delvin Esprit, good morning to you, Mr. Sabin.
Good morning, Mr. Esprit.
You remember the last interview, I asked Grandson in terms of the team preparation, he said everything is in order. Yeah. Is everything okay in terms of the Dominica team right in camp?
As far as I know from where I sit or from the position that I hold, yes, everything is seemingly okay. We have a meeting this morning, hopefully to iron out one or two little feathers that are ruffled, but apart from that, the team wants to play the game tomorrow and looking forward to the game tomorrow.
Because what we realized on Sunday that we know it was a rough journey going to Guatemala, and even coming back, it was also a rough journey. Are the players feeling the type of way and so on going before, right now, facing that match against Jamaica? How are they feeling now? Because it was a rough journey coming back also. How are they feeling now, up to just one day and then to play the match?
Well, like you said, it was a two-way rough journey going to Guatemala and coming from Guatemala. It was very challenging as it relates to travel. Like I said, the players are looking forward to the game. We have a meeting with the executive of the DFA this morning. As far as when I come from here, so about 11 a.m. to discuss, like I said, matters and just iron out certain things before the game. Just to settle everybody's mind, but to remain competitive and as it relates to the game, the players are ready for the challenge.
Are the senior players playing the type of role you expect, or they're showing disgust or anything of that nature in terms of what happened on tour?
Well, yeah, I mean, everybody disappointed. I'm not sure if disgust will be the ideal word. Everybody disappointed as to how we got there and how we came from the last game. Persons expressed their dissatisfaction and disappointment in the travel arrangements. And like I said, we have a meeting, so we will discuss all that.
So you're saying that the guys are in full spirit for tomorrow's encounter?
Yes.
Okay, in terms of the match tomorrow and so on, we know it's going to be a very tough atmosphere and we're playing at home and so on. How confident are you as a coach going towards that match?
If I wasn't confident, I don't think I should be the coach. I am confident in every game that I play and every opponent that I come up against that we can and should defeat the opponents. Just like I am confident that probably if the game was not played in Guatemala, it would have been a different result. Also, probably the officials had given the calls and not favored one side. It would be a different, more competitive game. But I can't control those things. Only God can. Only God knows why these things happen. Probably as a team, it was a point to build the team and to uplift the team and get them to focus and realize, that sometimes we just have to come and play the game for what it is.
Mr. Sabin, Ali and Christopher, Dominican Vibes. What's going to be the strategy tomorrow, playing against a tough team like Jamaica? Coming up from a 6-0 defeat, what's going to be your strategy tomorrow?
Remain competitive.
Remain competitive.
I give you a game strategy and I'll be selling myself short.
So will we, at least we know Dominica just going to sit in defense or we're going to attack Jamaica?
We never lie down, we never sit, or we never plan to do anything. You play the game that is happening on the field. So you can plan for whatever way you want, but at the end of the day, the game is played on the day. So whatever happens, you have to adjust and play to suit what the opponents are doing.
Yeah, Coach, you have mentioned on a few occasions that the players will meet with the executive of the DFA sometime this morning. Have these players raised any issues with you, some things that they are concerned about over the last few hours?
Yes, they have, but like I said, it's an issue for the executive to deal with, not me.
Is it unusual that your national team ahead of a World Cup match would want to see the Football Association? Is that a thing that happens all the time?
It's probably unusual for Dominica, but if players or if persons, I'm sure if in the place that you are employed, you have reservations or you have probably not satisfied with something that's going on, you would, whether it be before a major event or not, you would seek to address it and clarify it before that event takes place.
Are you, as the coach, concerned about these concerns that the players may be raising at that meeting?
No, it's valid concerns.
Valid concerns.
I believe the players have a right to express how they feel and seek answers from the necessary.
Are you willing to say what some of these concerns are?
No, I am not.
You know, but that meeting is planned for some time today.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Sabin, my question to you now is that I know that Dominica have been playing football for quite a number of years, but I have a serious issue in terms of conceding very early. And you remember, Curtis, when we were speaking on the radio, and so on, I told you about conceding early. And Dominica, from the time you concede very early, it puts your teams under a lot of pressure. Are we going to be mindful of that tomorrow? Because when you concede very early in the first 5 minutes of a football match, you actually are back against the wall. What are your strategies to combat that tomorrow?
We are always mindful about conceding early, Mr. Esprit. Sometimes it works in our favor where we don't concede early, but sometimes it doesn't. The last game was testimony of that, or testament of that. It did not work in our favor. We conceded our first goal in the 2nd minute. And like you say, when you concede so early, your back is always against the wall. Sometimes we concede early and we manage to fight back. Sometimes it doesn't happen. Like I said, the circumstances surrounding the last game did not work in our favor, and the players were not settled to come up against that kind of... Some of them even experiencing that atmosphere of 20,000 fans for their first time, so even that would have an impact on your performance as a player, whether a veteran or junior player.
All right, and considering what transpired over the past few days and now the meeting with the Football Association and the grievances of the players, do you think it's going to have, or what effect do you think it will have on the players, coming up against Jamaica tomorrow? Negative effect? What effect do you feel have?
Well, from a coaching perspective, I'm hoping that if the players clear their minds and they are satisfied with the responses that they receive from the persons that they are invited to the meeting, that should allow them to perform at their fullest potential.
So in case of that, are you telling me that the players meeting the Football Association, that some of the players might be considering boycotting the match?
No, I never said that.
No, but
I just say the players asked to meet the executive to voice their concerns, and after the game then, after the meeting then,
yeah, because when you talk about voice, yeah, but when you talk about voice your concern, yeah, they actually meeting the executive, and if they are not satisfied with the executive, that Dominica, some of the players might not be involved in the match.
No, I don't think it'll be that extreme.
You don't think that's extreme?
It's just voicing their concerns, chatting our way forward, so that we ensure that the international incident that happened for the last tour will not happen again.
Is there any demands from the players towards the Football Association going towards that meeting?
I guess it will be to get their act together better.
Could you explain that, Coach? Could you explain?
Well, like I say, we don't want a repeat of the last travel arrangements and the last situation happening surrounding the last game. So it's just to because if you're not there, you would understand. I mean, Mr. Richards had the privilege of being on tour and saw what happened firsthand. So it's just a matter of ensuring that this doesn't happen again. Meeting the executive, probably a WhatsApp message or email may not suffice. So it's just meeting them face to face and make them understand the grievances and seek clarification and chatting our way forward for the betterment of the football in the country.
Yeah, but because I thought you said earlier on and so on, everything, the guys in high spirit and so on, going towards the match. And now I am a different situation and so on, like the guys are because you're talking about everything's at the back of us because we got 6-0, we know what happened and transpired. But the guys meeting with the Football Association just before, Is there anything in terms of what can the Meet the Football Association know to discuss in terms of going to play the football match? Are they demanding money or anything of that nature? Because it looks like a very serious thing to meet the Football Association just before a World Cup match.
Well, the thing is, I'm not Gavin, Mr. Esprit. The players are focused on the game because the game is the bigger picture. But like I said, there are certain things that need to be cleared up, and the players are seeking clarification for those things.
Your final message to the Dominican public, Mr. Coach, what do you say to the Dominicans who are still considering whether they should be at the Windsor Park tomorrow?
I think they should be at the Windsor Park tomorrow. Come and support the team in large numbers. The more numbers we have, the more energy the players will be able to pool and be competitive and remain competitive.
And at this stage, how does qualification for the World Cup, how does that look for Dominica at this stage of the runnings of the...
We're still early stages. I mean, we lost one game. We have 3 more games to play. You never know what can happen in the other results. It can work in your favor. You can't rule on the team. It's just 1 game, 1 loss.
Okay, so that was head coach of the Dominican national football team, Ellington Sabin, speaking with the media ahead of tomorrow's World Cup qualifier against the Reggae Boys. Let me jump over quickly to YouTube before we go to the break and just say good evening to our friends on YouTube. Paul Peart, Primrose, Marigold Weber, GH, and also online is Charmaine Walker. So good evening to our friends over there on our YouTube page. With that, we take a quick break and we come back with more here on Sports Nation Live.
Wake up and feast with Nationwide this morning as they broadcast from the CEO's Breakfast and Rebranding event hosted by the Jamaica National Agency for Accreditation, JANAC. Experience this event live as we come to you from the Talk of the Town suite at the Pegasus Hotel on June 11, 2024 from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. JANAC will unveil its refreshed brand identity and share a glimpse into its strategic goals to expand its global footprint. In commemoration of World Accreditation Day 2024, the agency will host the Assessor Conclave, a technical workshop which aims to expand the knowledge of assessors regarding accreditation issues. This will be held in the same room at the Pegasus Hotel from 10:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. That's a live broadcast of the CEO's Breakfast and Rebranding event hosted by JANAC on June 11 during Nationwide This Morning, 6 to 9 a.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Jamaica National Agency for Accreditation.
Okay, good evening. Welcome back to Sports Nation Live. I'm Alric Swaby, working out with Kevin Williams on the other side of the glass. We'll be talking some netball now as Wayne Walker is at the National Stadium courts where he is observing what's happening in the Business House Rally. Wayne, good evening and welcome again.
Good evening and welcome, Alric. You're correct. I'm here at the Leela Robinson Court. It's a busy place, yeah. A lot of netball matches being played. In fact, I was just talking to one of the officials and I asked how many games are left to be played. And I think he mentioned something like 58. And I said, what did you just say? And he said 58. But then, you know, it's a rally, so you're going to have a number of teams. In fact, we've got 28 companies and 30 teams participating. 2 teams didn't show up today, the Bureau of Standards and the Jamaica Customs, but everything is going smoothly at the moment. And I'm going to be talking to the Vice President of the Business House Netball Association in short order. But let me just give you some of the scores that I've got here. Scotia A, for instance, they were impressive. They beat NHD by 20-0. With another impressive score. I'm just trying to pick the scores as I look down on the sheet. NHD A, they beat Sagicor A 11-2. There's also a victory for JUTC. They defeated Advantage General 8-4. And I'm just going to choose 1 or 2 more because there's so many of them. NHD A again were winners. They beat JUTC 6-0. JCF 10 over Advantage General 3. At Sagicor, they were beaten by Heart 6-4. There's a result here from the Jamaica Public Service. They won 7-2 over Hawkeye. NHCA again is the third victory I'm seeing for them. They defeated the JCF by 11-2. And let me just give you two more before I talk to the Vice President. Scotia A, they were big victors over Guardian, and that score was 14-2. And just one more, Scotia B versus Sagicor B. Scotia B won that one by 9-2. All right, so got Karen Winstanley, the Vice President of the Business House Netball Association. The President is overseas, so we're honored to be talking to the Vice President. Madam Vice President, first of all, just looking around, it looks impressive in terms of the array of colors, the array of teams, and just as one game is over, another one is on court right after. What sort of a day are you having?
Well, thank you so much, first of all, for having us. Day has been going awesome so far. We started the morning with, the afternoon with our opening ceremony and dress parade, and then we went straight into the rally. And it was just awesome. I wish you would have been here to see the rally. The ladies, they went all out. By now, you would have known that RG Gleaner won the dress parade. Then they were followed by JMB and NHT. Very impressive. It was just total spectacular. I was so impressed with the effort that they put out in terms of presenting. And it just tells me that there's so much interest in netball and so much interest in the Business House Netball Association. And we're just happy that we're able to have this experience and to bring these ladies from all different backgrounds, all different social, economic status right here under one pillar, just working together to transform and to inspire and to forge friendships.
About the sort of interest that netball has in the country. It has always been, and it was more pronounced because last night, just about a couple of meters away from here, was another league, the Elite League in the National Indoor Sports Center. So netball can't be too much, as they say in local parlance. You've managed to bring out a number of teams, very competitive and all.
Yes, and I'm really impressed. I mean, it's just so overwhelming, the effort, and we had so many interests from other teams that are not here. And even Hawkeye, the very first time they're joining Business House, and JCF, so it is just an awesome feeling knowing that we're reaching and the interest is there, and so we can just continue to hope and send a message, and other companies will come on board. Yes.
When does the league start proper, the Open League?
Well, it starts next Tuesday.
Next week, Tuesday.
Yes, with the Open League, and we go for about 2 months. We should end the Open League by the last week of July, if everything goes well in terms of weather, and then in early August we start the Divisional League, and that should end the end of October. Hopefully, if everything goes well, end of October. If not, we go into November. That's when teams are trying to travel now to go overseas to play the tournament. And so it's just so inspiring because you just mentioned the match that was played yesterday, and some of these very ladies play in that league. And so you can imagine the caliber of players that are here with us today. You would have noted some of the scores. NHT, Scotiabank A, and you mentioned Scotiabank B and Scotiabank B, right?
You preempted it because I was going to ask you, I see you in here, are you playing?
I am playing, yes, I am. And so we're just so multi-talented, and it's not just games, it is in education as well. It is, our place of business, and so netball is just so multifaceted. It's not, from a Business House perspective, for me and for my association, what we want is to ensure that when the ladies leave here, they leave here differently. You don't walk in the door and you leave the same way. We want when you leave, your self-confidence is up. We want when you leave, the respect is up. And we try to say, respect your fellow teammates, respect your the other team. It's not just about you. Netball is just such a friendly game that you have so much opportunity. Yes, you want to win, but also remember that there's camaraderie right afterwards and friendships that can be forged.
Madam VP, very eloquently said. You sound as if you were the president. Why you're not more in the national spotlight, I don't know. But I think you're going to get there. You've got a nice attitude and I like the spirit. All the best to you as we go along for tonight, all right?
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Not a
Thank
problem.
you. And I'd love for you to come on board some more.
Yes.
You know, for us to get some more recognition for you, for the games to be. I know you have a program. You know, for the ladies to be seen. You know,
We'll
and
endeavor to carry the
yes, and I know you will. Thank you so much.
All the best.
All right.
All right, Albert, so that's Karen with Stanley, the Vice President of the Business House Netball Association. And yeah, just outlining the plans for the association going forward as far as this competition is concerned and for the rest of the evening as well.
Right. I would have loved to hear if Tankwell would have entered and how did they perform. Maybe when we call you back later on, because I anticipate that this will go up until about 9 o'clock. So when we call you back, you could check your sheet and see how they did, if they entered, because I would have passed and seen them several nights training from about March. So when we call you back, we'll see what's happened. Okay, so
I didn't get the team that you're talking about.
that's Tankwell.
Okay, Tankwell. Okay, cool. I will check for them. In fact, if you hold on a bit, I could tell you. In fact, I'm not seeing them on the sheet here. So it seems as if they were not registered, because if they only two teams that were registered did not turn up. And I'm not seeing Tankwell on my sheet here, because I'm looking at all the teams here. So maybe they were playing for another tournament, and maybe not this one. But they're not here, and they're not on the sheet.
Right. Okay, then that's Wayne Walker, or reporter there at the Netball Business House League at the National Stadium courts. We take a break and we'll come back with more here on Sports Nation Live.
This outstanding 6'4" athlete credits Jamaica with her first Olympic victory ever.
Jamaica is filled with Olympians.
World record holder McKinley dashes into the lead.
We must never forget the forerunners of Jamaican Olympic greatness.
Coming into the home stretch, it's Wint who challenges the leader.
Win or lose, athletes never forget their Olympic experience.
Fairly Naughty has devastated another world-class field. And Hemmings is going to do it. Hemmings wins it. She's the champion. A personal...
Win or lose, Jamaicans will cheer the loudest at the Olympics so that the world will never forget who we are.
And Usain Bolt is moving away. And Jamaica retain their title. And the world record has been taken apart. Oh, I say.
From July 26 to August 11, tune in only to Nationwide 90 FM for the coverage of the 2024 Paris Olympic Games, because we're here to ensure that you never forget. Nationwide's coverage is powered by our bronze sponsors: National Road Operating and Construction Company Limited, Digicel, Grace Foods, Spirits of Jamaica, Imperial Optical Jamaica, and Rainforest Caribbean.
Get ready for a show like no other. That's right. Every Sunday from 8:15 p.m. to 9:15 p.m., we're bringing you the Harvest Hour, only on Nationwide 90 FM. Join us as we dive into a soothing religious program created for your mind, body, and soul. The World Harvest Mission Church, creators of the Harvest Hour, is dedicated to making your Sundays God-fearing and saintly. Get a front row seat to moving sermons and affectionate worshiping. That's the Harvest Hour, every Sunday from 8:15 p.m. to 9:15 p.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
Okay, good evening. Welcome back to Sports Nation Live. I'm Alric Swaby, working with Kevin Williams on the other side of the glass. We'll be sticking with netball as the Red Stripe Flavors Netball Jamaica Elite League continues with 2 matches in round 6 at the National Indoor Sports Centre tomorrow. In the opening match, St. James Sharps take on St. Anne Orchids at 4 p.m. In the second match at 5:30, Kingston Hummingbirds faced Manchester Spurs. we have online coach of St. Anne Orchids, Rashid Joseph. Coach Rashid, good evening and welcome to the show.
A pleasant evening to you all, and thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. We're hoping to have Coach Nadia Hansen of the Kingston Hummingbirds, but as expected, she's at the same rally that we just talked with Wayne Walker, and she might not be available. But we'll continue with Coach Rashid. Coach Rashid, you are the coach of the Orchids. Tell me, how would you describe your team?
Well, in terms of description, I would say on paper, I would regard my team as one of the better teams on paper.
Right.
It's just a matter for us to get to know each other and start coordinating properly on the court.
Right. And tell me, how has it been going for your team so far? What's the results of the games that you would have played?
Well, we played last Sunday against the St. Catherine Racers, and we drew that game. That for us was our initiation. We went into the training session and worked out some of the more technical things and where we had our errors and stuff. And so we're looking forward to going into tomorrow's game, capitalizing on all the things that we worked on in training. So it should be a better showing for us tomorrow.
Right. And you'll be going up against the Sharps, who would have lost their first two matches. You think that makes you the stronger team going in? Are you taking this team lightly, seeing that they are on the back foot, so to speak?
Oh, not at all, not at all. I know for a fact that the Sharps, even though they have lost their first two games, they are coming hungry for a win. So I am expecting the Sharps to come on into the game very strong, hungry for a win, wanting for that win. So we're not at all taking them lightly. As a matter of fact, being that we consider ourselves one of the better teams on paper, and we drew our first game, I think mentally that should be some sort of motivation for the Sharps to be looking forward to be taking or getting their first points from us. And so we know the game is going to be a hard one, so we're definitely not taking them lightly.
Right. And your team, where you think your strength lies? I mean, you would have come out of your first match knowing a bit more about your team, the fact that it's not the same team that played last year, players that played last year that would have made up this team. What are some of the new, what new you would have learned of your team that you see that you can use to come out on top against the Sharps?
Well, I believe that our greatest strength lies in our shooters. We have one of the strongest shooters in the island in Sabrina. I believe she's a tower of strength down that side. And assisting Sabrina, we have a very agile and a very accurate Amanda. That's Amanda Pickney that is in the circle with her. So for us, that is where our greatest strength is. And to complement the shooting area, we have the versatile Kwanya Walker. She is so much of a versatile player. And so she complements that center court going forward. It really comes down to how well we will coordinate and how well we will minimize the errors, especially the passing errors.
Right. And during your training sessions, do you focus in any way on the power play situation where teams can score 3, 2, and 1 point during that last 3 minutes of each quarter?
Yes, definitely, because based on the games that we have seen so far and based on experience from last year's elite games, we see where teams can capitalize on the power play, and we see teams who are down, even as much as down in double figures, and based on the power play, they have long-range shooters that can hit those shots and get them all the way back in the game, even as much as winning the game. So in our training sessions, we do practice those power play shots, and we do practice the power play scenarios just in the event we're in the game and there comes a point when we need to take those shots.
Let's go back a bit to that drawn game, 49-49 against the Racers. But when you look at that game, was there anything that you think your players or you could have done better to secure the win?
Yes, definitely. I would start with me as the coach in terms of managing the time properly. That is, for me, I start there in terms of lesson learned. We did not have the advantage of the shot clock being displayed, where it would have been far easier to see the time and manage what it is that we need to do where that is concerned. As well as the coach, I also made some changes because fitness was a great factor for us. And so I had made some changes in the hope of giving some of the starting players a breather so that they could finish out. But then realizing 5 minutes to go, I realized that, listen, we had a quick team talk with one of the timeouts, and we said, listen, team, we just have to dig deep for this 5 minutes. I made the error, and so I'm going to ask you guys to fill in for that. And then in terms of managing when and where we decide to take those power shots, we had a talk with the shooters as well, because we took some ill-advised shots down in the latter part of the game that allowed the team to capitalize on our error, and they went down on their end and scored. And so it's a combination of various factors, no single one person to be blamed. Like I said, I started with me as the coach in terms of not managing the time properly, and so we just hope to do much better in tomorrow's game.
Right. I would have seen a couple of the matches, and it seems as if defense plays a huge part in any team coming out on top. We seem to have lost Rashid there. We'll try to reconnect with him, but we are here. We're talking about the Red Stripe Flavors Netball Jamaica Elite League, which continues at the National Indoor Sports Centre with round 6 tomorrow. And in the opening match, St. James Sharps, they will take on St. Anne Orchids at 4 p.m. The Sharps, they're going in with 2 losses from 2 matches, while St. Anne Orchids, they would have drawn their first match against St. Catherine Racers, and they're looking for their first win of the tournament. Coach Rashid, you've rejoined us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. I was saying I would have seen a couple of the matches, and I saw where defense played a huge role in the team coming out on top or the team losing. Defense in terms of taking care of your center pass as well as trying to intercept and discourage the other team taking over their center pass. How much have you put in terms of training and preparing your defensive unit?
We have also looked at the defensive side. For example, for our team, our defense area is led by the well-experienced Vanjali, former national player, and all of that. And so with her experience, as well as the other players and my coaching expertise, we come together, we looked at some defensive strategies, and we have started those practices in. So where defense is concerned, we do have our various scenarios that we have worked on, not yet completed, but we have started the work in terms of coming up with various defensive strategies, defensive plays, and we're just taking it game by game to see which one suits best for the team.
All the players from all 6 teams would have been coming out of the Supreme Ventures Major and Minor League right into this competition, so you wouldn't have had a time to gel. After your first game where you drew 49-49, have the team come together yet?
I would admit that at this point we are still not yet there. Like you said, coming out of the various leagues, some Super League, we don't have any minor league players, but we do have the intermediate players. We do have senior players and players coming from different teams. We have not yet fully gelled together as a team. Right now, we are just starting. We're just starting to learn about each other. That too is another important fact when it comes on to playing the sport. So we're learning each other. We're learning the different styles. We're learning how to adapt to each other's style. And so it's work in progress as we go along.
Right. And come tomorrow, you go up against the Sharps. What do you think will be key for victory for your Orchids?
I believe the key for our victory is to minimize on those turnovers. The last game we had quite a bit of turnovers and some unforced errors. We did some things that were just totally not necessary. And so we're looking to go into tomorrow's game, playing a more controlled game, controlling the tempo, controlling the ball. And we believe once we do that for tomorrow's game, we should be successful.
Okay, then, Coach Rashid, thanks much, and we wish you and your Orchids all the best.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so that was Coach Rashid Joseph, head coach of the St. Ann Orchids, playing in the Red Stripe Flavors Netball Jamaica Elite League. We take a break and we come back with more here on Sports Nation Live.
Get ready for a show like no other. That's right. Every Sunday from 8:15 p.m. to 9:15 p.m., we're bringing you the Harvest Hour, only on Nationwide 90 FM. Join us as we dive into a soothing religious program created for your mind, body, and soul. The World Harvest Mission Church, creators of the Harvest Hour, is dedicated to making your Sundays God-fearing and saintly. Get a front row seat to moving sermons and affectionate worshiping. That's the Harvest Hour, every Sunday from 8:15 p.m. to 9:15 p.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
Corian solid surface, so versatile and beautiful. It's non-porous, no sealing necessary, renewable and repairable, so easy to clean and maintain, and can be thermoformed into any shape. Choose Corian, the #1 solid surface in the world, when you want beauty and the best for your countertop. Visit Home International Limited, located at 104 Constance Ring Road. Telephone 755-1970 or 924-0437.
Come into the parlor, there's a welcome there for you.
Welcome to the Mayor's Parlor with Desmond McKenzie.
From 1 to 6 p.m. every Sunday, you'll now get more of your favorite vintage music.
Put your head on my shoulder.
Nationwide 90 FM will transform your Sunday into a musical time machine that will take you way back.
Come with me, let's go back in time.
This magic moment.
Journey into yesteryear with Desmond McKenzie in the Mayor's Parlor.
I've got the music to jog your memory and make you smile.
Put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the best in vintage music.
Come into the Mayor's Parlor every Sunday between 1 and 6 p.m. here on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Good evening and welcome back to Sports Station Live. I'm Alric Swiwi. We'll be talking some swimming as Jamaica will be sending a team to the Pan American Swimming Championships in Trinidad and Tobago. That's the Masters Pan American Swimming Championships next month. And joining us to shed some light on this championship is Christina Chuck Smith. We are hoping to have Julian Lee join us as well. But let's start with Miss Chuck. Christina, good evening. Welcome to the show.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. Christina, just jump right in and just share with the listeners what is this Pan American Masters Swimming Championships?
So it's the Pan American countries will all be there. So you'll have the Caribbean countries, you'll have the U.S., you'll have Canada, and a few other countries, some of the Latin American countries as well. So in order to be eligible to swim, you need to be at least 25 years old, and I'm sure they're going up to maybe even 100. Jamaica, I think our eldest person going is somewhere in the range of 62, but I won't tell her exact age. So, yes, and we'll be swimming all the strokes and various events, the various distances.
Right, and tell me what's the size of the team that will be traveling, representing Jamaica?
Right now, there's actually one of the largest teams that's ever gone. There are 8 of us going. It's 6 women and 2 men.
So why you only give us 2 spots?
Well, no, only 2 men. Only 2 men wanted to go, so we got 2 men. But they're actually, those 2 men help us have a mixed relay team. So the mixed relay teams, 2 men, 2 women, and we actually have that. So that works out well. But we also have just a straight women's team as well, being able to swim relays.
Right, and I know swimmers swim all strokes when they go to this competition.
Yes.
Is it so at the Masters level? What strokes will you be swimming?
So I will be doing the 50 fly, the 100 fly, and the 50 breast. But we do have as high as the 800 free, which is 16 laps of the Olympic-sized pool in freestyle, and 400 IM, which I consider, if not the second hardest event, because it's 2 laps of each stroke, which is very hard. So I say most of us seem to enjoy the breaststroke and the butterfly, but we do have someone doing the backstroke, and we do have freestyle as well. So it ranges from the 50 meters, which is 1 lap of the Olympic-sized pool, all the way up to the 800 free.
Right,
which is the 16.
And Julian Lee has joined us. Let me bring her in now. Julian, good evening and welcome.
Good evening. Thanks for having us on the show.
It's our pleasure. First up, tell me what strokes, what event will you be participating in?
Well, I will be doing the 50-meter free and the 50-meter butterfly, and also any relays that I get on.
Right, and this is a masters competition, so I understand that you have to be like 100 and over. Just kidding.
No, just 25 and over.
No, not quite.
Age group, so
to make it different fair, age groups, though.
Yes.
Right, but tell me as I said, it's masters, so I'm suspecting that persons who will be going on this team are persons who will be working and competing. Tell me, how do you balance training and working as well as family, if that's one of the challenges that you have? Julian?
Well, with balancing everything is just like anything else that somebody wants to do after you become an adult. You start doing the adult thing, then you have to work, and it's just like people that want to go to the gym afterwards to keep healthy. We go swimming. Right. Family, for those that do have family, a lot of times they get their family involved in swimming also. Because what do you find with swimmers, especially those that swim in masters, is we started swimming from we were young, and we seem to introduce swimming to the children, and then they end up swimming also. So it's like once a swimmer, it's a swimmer family. So you balance it just like with anything else that you want to do.
Okay. I see you're talking about doing the adulting thing as if you want to turn back the clocks of time and don't bother with it. But
Well, sometimes, but That's not all life.
Let me bring back Christina in.
Yes.
Christina, tell me what has training been like, preparation for this championship?
So I have a young child who actually is swimming, and she is she actually swims a few days a week. So what I do is I try to get in on with her as well. Instead of sitting in the stands and watching her train, I try to get in. But if I'm not able to do that because I do work, so sometimes she gets dropped off, then I go in the morning, I drop her to school, and I go for anywhere from half an hour to 45 minutes to get my time in.
Right, and you'll be contesting 3 events, you said?
Hello?
Christina, you'll be
Yes, sorry, yes.
you'll be contesting 3 events.
Yes.
Right, and tell me, going in, what's your goal? What you want to achieve for competing?
I'm not sure if you know, but I am one of 4 girls, and my sisters actually have all competed for Jamaica in a water sports, and I'm the only one who has not.
Wow.
And so this has been almost a lifelong dream to go to an event like this. So my goal, honestly, is to be in the top 3 in at least one. Would be great if I could be in all 3 of my events. So it would just be a great accomplishment for me if I could make it in the top 3 of my events.
Right, and tell me which of the events you think you're strongest.
Because it's a hard event and many people want to swim it, I want to say the 100 fly.
Okay.
That's what's going to help me, is that it's one of my favorite events and not many people like it. So I think that's the one that's going to help me.
Okay. And Julian, what events are you competing in?
The 50 free and the 50 fly.
Right.
Like Christina said, usually, and I don't know how it was with Christina, but usually when somebody swims fly, it's because they love it. And when I used to swim for high school and college, nobody else wanted to do fly. So,
yes.
If you do it, you get it. And you seem to be putting all those races. So I eventually got to love it.
Right.
So,
And you think you can medal in that event?
Yes, that's my intention, to medal in both my events, or any event that I'm in.
Right. And Julian, Christina, you mentioned a mixed relay team. Tell me, when you look at the persons that will make up that team, how strong a team you think that will be?
Well, we are boasting a former Olympian. Alan Roy Marsh is one of our males. And so we are excited that he and the other male, and our 2 females, which we're not sure who those will be yet, just because, it depends on how we feel on the day for the females. But those 2 males are very strong. They've been swimming in local competitions, and they've been extremely strong, especially Alan Roy. He actually beats the kids who are, I want to say, a third of his age, who are training regularly. But I do know he's training regularly as well. So I'm very confident that relay can definitely medal.
Did he
or the 2 relays, because they'll do medley relay and freestyle relay. I'm confident they'll medal in the top 3.
Did he really beat them, or he paid them?
No, he really beat them. He really beat them. Like, when you see him swim, he just glides through the water. He really just, he's powerful. You don't see his stroke as hard, which means he's using more power than he's necessarily doing a sprint. So he really looks good.
Right. And Julian, let me come back to you. You say you want to medal in both your events, or if you get to be on one of those relay teams.
Relays, yes.
Tell me, what has training, what has preparation been like for you?
Okay, well, I started training in earnest. Even before I decided I was going to do this event, I started training in earnest in the beginning of the year for this. It's as you say, it's something where you have to find the time to balance out with the rest of your life. And, I think training is going well. We have, as of today, I think we have like about 5 more weeks. So, this is relatively crunch time. So we just do what we continue doing what we've been doing. Training, going in the pool, putting our time in, eating properly. So, we'll see on the day.
Right. And at 506 years old, what prompted you to pick up Masters Swimming?
Once a swimmer, always a swimmer. So while I may not have been competing continuously after I left college, because I went to college and competed also, I always seem to pick it back up, go for like maybe 6 months and then life gets in the way, but I've always wanted to do masters swimming, and this came around, and another one of the members on the team who is also Florida-based, Adichina Gilvey, she said, Julie, come on, you've always wanted to do it, come on. And so, I decided, yes, I'm going to do it. So this is going to be my first masters competition.
Okay. And Christina, we know in track and field, Masters race is a big thing with seat on the Diamond League and other era meets. Tell me how big a deal is Masters competition in swimming?
So here in Jamaica, it's growing. But in the world, it's pretty big. I mean, they even have a World Masters Championships. So the one this year was held in Doha, and that was big. That was huge. That's something that includes all the countries that have everybody there, So it's big for us because we have not had a team go in about 20 years.
Okay.
So we're bringing it back. We're trying to get it big again, and hopefully we can show the region that we are back with strength.
Right, and I know Tornadoes have a masters program. Is this something that in all the clubs are coming back in the other clubs?
Yes. So White Speeders also has quite a few members swimming, and then the Swimmers Swim Club, they have one as well. I'm trying to think. I know that the Viking Swim Club has had 2 swimmers swim before. So, yeah, we're trying to bring it back to everybody, As Julie said, once a swimmer, always a swimmer. So a lot of the swimmers, the age group swimmers right now, their parents swam, like Julianne said. So we're sitting on the deck, we're watching them. So it's very inspirational now that some of us are actually going to Pan Am. I think we're going to draw a bigger crowd to come back and join.
Right. And tell me what has been the support from the parent body, ASAJ?
Well, they've been very supportive. They know that we're still trying to break in, so they've allowed us to swim in the meets with the younger kids. As I said, Alan Roy is doing really well, but they've also added masters events just for us because not everybody wants to swim with the younger kids. So they tend to shy away from that. So they've added more of the masters events and medals and just helping us get to be more comfortable being back in the water at such an older age.
Right, and let me continue, but I'm going to ask both of you this question. But let me start with you, Christina. When you think about going over to Trinidad and Tobago and prepare for this championships, what motivates you to go out and train and ensure that you are in the best of shape to be on that medal podium?
So, well, I have a daughter who is watching, meaning she may not be watching all the time, but when I'm in the local meets, she is my biggest cheerleader. The entire National Aquatic Center knows that I'm in the pool because all you hear is "Go, Mommy." So, because she's also training to swim in national competition, for Jamaica, I want her to understand that this doesn't have an age. So, even if she doesn't get it now, which she is, she can still do it. And seeing her mommy do it, I'm hoping, helps her to strive to continue and to be better. So she's part of my motivation, but also knowing that there are so many more masters who are looking, and wondering, can I do this? Is it possible? I'm hoping that if I can get on that medal podium and come home with some medals, that they will say, all right, it's very possible, it can be done, and I'm next.
Right, and Julian, with you having to do this adult thing, what motivates you to add this to all of the things that you have to do?
Well, as Christina said, it's about people are watching. Especially, you say that you're going to do this competition. They see you in the pool, and you have people that used to swim, and like us, they're in our age group and they're adults and they have kids, and they will take the kids to their meets and their training and their practices. But then for some reason they are wondering, I used to do this, but I can't do this anymore. I mean, I haven't been in the pool since high school or whatever. As Christina said, we need to show them, and my goal is to do well, to show them that you don't have to be 16 or 17 to compete, to represent your country and do well. You can, as long as you're training, you're putting in the work, you're going in the pool, you can do it. I was asking other people here, because I'm based in Florida, and people that I know that swam, and they're like, oh, I'm not ready, I haven't been in the pool, and even though they've been swimming, they don't think they're ready for Masters, because everybody says that, oh, it's Olympics, right? We want people to know that it keeps you healthy, and you can compete, and you can medal.
Right.
So that's my
motivation
goal for doing this.
Right. And again, I'm going to ask both of you this question. Anyone going into a competition goes in to win, but apart from winning a medal, what would you describe as success for you? Let me start with you, Julian.
Success is completing the race and feeling good that I did my best, representing the country to the best of my ability. That is what I would, say that I'm successful from this event. Having people, encouraging somebody who either wanted to do it or never thought that they could do it. They see me and they say, okay, I can do it too. Those are the two things that would make me feel successful coming out to this event. Of course, I want a medal. So add to that.
And you, Christina, what would you describe as success?
So for me, it would be, I've been swimming in the local competitions since about 2017. So I have some times that are now more adult times. So not looking back at my, early years. And I just like to be able to do personal best, meaning I'd like to shave off some time, be able to, finish the race first of all, but also to shave off some time so that I can feel good that all the training that I've been putting in is actually working.
And finally, Julian, let me give you the final word. I'm just encourage others to come out and be a part of this master swimming.
Yes, as I say to myself and to anybody that I talk to personally, come out and do masters. It's not to just encourage people that that are doing it. Come out and to let your kids know that once they finish high school, that they can do it, because the thing with especially Jamaica, it seems that if you don't go to a college in the States or in England or in Europe or in Canada, your swimming career is more or less over. Mm-hmm. So we're encouraging you that your swimming career does not have to be over. That's why Masters, especially in the States, is so big, because they have all these programs out there. And the Masters program in Jamaica will not grow as fast as we need it to if we don't get the support. So come out, support those who are doing it now. You can do it yourself, and just come out and have fun. Keeps you healthy,
Good. Okay, ladies, I thank you very much for stopping by and speaking with us. We wish you all the best.
Okay, thank you very much.
You
Have a good one.
It's your pleasure. You too. Okay, so that was Christina Chuck Smith and Julian Lee, members of Jamaica's Masters team that will be representing the country at the Pan American Masters Swimming Championships in Trinidad and Tobago next month. We take a break and we come back with more here on Sports Nation Live.
Need to make a change to your title or need a title? Geoland Title Limited. They do lost title application, add and remove names from titles, wills, estates. First-time registration land surveys also included. Affordable rates and flexible payment options. NLA adjudication and land titling waivers also available. They have 8 locations island-wide. Call 876-754-6436 or visit their website at geolandonline.com. Geoland Title Limited. Secure your land, secure your title.
Get ready for a show like no other. That's right. Every Sunday from 8:15 p.m. to 9:15 p.m., we're bringing you the Harvest Hour, only on Nationwide 90 FM. Join us as we dive into a soothing religious program created for your mind, body, and soul. The World Harvest Mission Church, creators of the Harvest Hour, is dedicated to making your Sundays God-fearing and saintly. Get a front row seat to moving sermons and affectionate worshiping. That's the Harvest Hour, every Sunday from 8:15 p.m. to 9:15 p.m. Only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
Good afternoon and welcome to the show. We are speaking with Victor Tomlinson, Director of the Board of Jamaica Hockey Federation. Victor, again, good afternoon.
Thanks very much.
It's my pleasure. You were just in the Cayman Islands. Tell me what was the tournament that Jamaica participated in?
It's a Jamaica versus Cayman tournament. It is leaning towards recreational hockey, where the team that goes over is not exactly a national team, but a very competitive group of players. We go to Cayman to engage Cayman hockey players based in Cayman. Cayman, as you know, is a melting pot of all nationalities around the world. So in Cayman, you have South Africans, regular Africans, as you know it, Kenyans. We have Europeans, and we have other West Indians who are all hockey, as well as other Jamaicans who are hockey players who are playing in Cayman. Among all those, there are very good players, coaching and so on in England and Scotland is a bit above ours. And so we have all these players there who play their hockey, and 10, 15 years ago, they engaged with us and said, can we come over and play against you? So they come over to Jamaica every November, and we travel over to Cayman on the on our holiday in May, the Labor Day weekend. And we play 3 games, males, females, mixed game. And we have a trophy that we play for, the Alex Horner Trophy. It's named after one of the ladies who started coming here a few years ago and unfortunately passed on in the prime of her life. So the trophy is named in her honor.
I'm a bit familiar with that tournament. I was able to witness the game pre-pandemic. I'm not remembering what year it was, but it was very exciting. It was a mixture of senior and junior players that competed together. It was well received in Jamaica. How was it received in the Cayman Island?
Absolutely wonderful, because the entire hockey playing community comes up there. And as I said, all the hockey playing community are all expatriates, so they were out in their numbers playing. Everybody wants to get a game. So it is well received and, sponsored as well. They have about 2 or 3 sponsors branded on their shirts, and one of them a Jamaican firm, can you imagine, sponsoring that team there. So it is well received, and they have a nice facility that they play at.
Describe that facility a bit to us.
It's an artificial all-purpose turf that football is played upon and hockey is played upon as well. Over in Cayman Bay, that's the area it is. And it's a nice turf. It's fairly good. A bit slowish for hockey because the the turf is for both sports, football and hockey. So it's slowish. It slows down the game a bit for hockey, and it's great for football. But and the facility is quite nice.
And the overall reception from your hosts?
Listen, the hosts were always happy to have us. They took us out for dinner, and we go on our traditional boat cruise to Stingray Bay, and we go out and have fun with the stingray fishes stingrays in the water. And we had our Jamaican community there. We have contact with Jamaican community. They took us for brunch and Sundays. So we have a good time, and we played good hockey. We won the trophy game, but it was a tough game because they had technical persons who, when they are playing now and get serious and playing with their tactics and technical stuff that they engaged and then put on the field, we said, hold on now, you have to take this thing serious. These guys are good.
I should have asked you this earlier, but it's never too late. What's the name of the tournament?
It doesn't have a name. You might beat me that one. It's a Jamaica Cayman tournament. It doesn't have a name as such. They're the Friends of Jamaica, Friends of Cayman hockey tournament.
This was a 3-game series. How did Jamaica fare against the Caymanians?
We lost the first game, won the second game, and we won the most important, the trophy game. Because it's a male game, then females, and then the trophy game is mixed. Males and females on the pitch. In this instance, was 3 females and 7 males. When there's a balance, it's 5 males, 5 females. So at all times, you have your best males and females on the pitch. And unlimited changes. So they were able to change 6 players at a time against us. And all the men there, and they came on and they turned it up. But we had a great goalkeeper with us. He got the best player of the tournament. He really, really stood firm in the goal. And they all shook his hand afterwards and said, boy, you saved them. He did well. That's how it is.
In terms of scoreline, what was the final score?
1-0. And it was our friend from Africa, Joseph from Kenya, who is converted to a Jamaican. As we arrived, he is in his Jamaican outfit. He's a Kenyan, and he has been here a couple of times and so on. And he got his chance and he took it.
What would you have learned competing in the Cayman Islands that you think could be adapted to Jamaica's hockey?
Well, a couple of things. They play well. What we could do here is attract a lot of expatriates here who are exposed to a different brand of hockey than us. If we could get them more integrated in our hockey here, we could learn from them. So we have to reach out to that expatriate community because there it's all expatriate. And so you see different playing styles and habits and tactics. West Indians, Bajans and Trinidadians there with South Africans and Europeans. So, different tactics, different approaches to the game. It will help us here to raise the level of our game and make us more competitive internationally. That's one thing we learned.
What was the high point of the whole tournament?
Of course, winning the trophy, because we were scared to death, man. They played. So the high point is when that final whistle came and we realized that our little trophy is returning home. Because we won it in Jamaica, the last event. And so it is returning to its rightful place. That was the high point. And of course, they congratulated us and said, next time.
Let's move away a bit from that tournament and look at Jamaica's hockey overall. What's next on the horizon for local hockey?
Well, we are completing the under 16 school competition on Friday. We have the finals, males and females finals on Friday afternoon. And then now the clubs should begin in June a 7-a-side competition, a 7-a-side series of competitions. And then in August, September, move into 11-a-side competitions, club-wise. And national teams should be looking about getting ready now for international competitions next year, where the road to the next Olympics, if that we can say that, because Olympics this year, and then come next year, it will be towards CAC Games, Pan Am Games, and the Olympic Games. So we're going to begin that road at the national level. And there will be development competitions at the under 21 in the region as well. So we may be looking at teams to go to these under 21 competitions and, to gain experience and better playing standards and exposure and so on. So that's what's happening there. In addition to there's a club competition going on now, I think. It's the clubs that, hold competitions among their, invitational competitions.
How strong would you say hockey is at the club level locally?
Well, honestly, COVID kind of kicked the wind out of us a bit, but it's slowly coming back. Remember this year now, earlier we went to the International Hockey Fives competition in Oman. That was in January. We were in the top 16 countries in the world in the five-a-side hockey format. So that's where we're coming from. So our hockey is not too bad, but we just have to translate that strength now into 11-a-side for the competition going forward.
There are suggestions that in order to drive more attention, to have hockey more popular in the country, you should adopt a format such as Manning Cup and other competitions where the game is played at the school ground instead of at a centralized location, mainly the Mona Hockey Field. What's your thought on such a suggestion?
Yes, we agree with that suggestion, and that is the best way to get it. Get more schools involved, move our playing population among schools. But a lot of schools do not have good playing surfaces. Hockey requires a reasonably smooth surface. It doesn't happen in a lot of schools. They don't have it. The format would be indoors, playable in an auditorium. A lot of schools' auditoriums are not available for sports. Indeed, hockey is maybe, for sports, hockey will be competing with basketball and maybe volleyball for the same auditorium, as well as academic happenings and other matters to do with the auditorium. So, yes, we should get it being played in schools. That's ideal, but we have to understand that we have a limiting factor that is really, really mitigating against hockey played in schools. Nevertheless, we will still make the effort too, because we have a field out in Maypen that was developed and so on, but we just need some fixings, and that can hold a hockey 5s or 7s at the junior level. A smaller pitch, and we will be looking to see if we can get something up in Mandeville. And yes, whilst we have more pitches or closer access to schools, then yes, more schools will get involved.
In terms of improving the quality of officials, what are some of the programs that the Hockey Federation have been hosting or plan to host to improve the quality of our officiating?
That is always something that we have to keep working at. We have some experienced technical and umpiring personnel, which we do, but we always have to be recruiting. And yes, there are from time to time that we will have training for umpires and technical personnel. And other times we can bring in technical personnel from overseas to train. And that is what we do. And especially since the league is going to be starting later on, now we will have, for example, in the 7-a-side competition, we have the new umpires and technical personnel will be under supervision of the more experienced ones, so that they can, get their foot in. And I am sure we should have overseas technical person or umpire training session here, as well as, more importantly, trying to get umpires and technical persons placed in international competitions. Maybe lower level competitions until they are good enough to go into the higher level competition.
When next can we see an international tournament being hosted in Jamaica?
That's a hard question, but maybe next year. It could be junior tournaments next year. So because times for this year already, venues have been committed, and because of Olympic Games as well, that goes into July. All focus is there, but sometime next year we should be able to host again. But hosting again, we'll have to take a look at the pitch, which is about to outlive its useful life. So we might have to be balancing the pitch against the level of competition that we want to have, unless we get a new pitch installed, then we can move to the higher level.
Speaking of the pitch, the Federation would have known that these pitches have a shelf life. What have been the plans to ensure that the proper maintenance and replacement when ready is able to be completed and completed smoothly?
Well, proper maintenance is in place. It's swept and kept clean. That's enough you have to do throughout the life of the pitch, and play as much as you can on it. And I'm sure the Federation will be making representations to the Ministry of Sport and possibly other interests locally and internationally to support the replacement of the pitch.
Anything else you would love to share with Jamaica that I did not ask?
Hockey is one of the most is among the most watched sports in the world. We might not think so, but it is very popular, and we should understand that and see if we can support the sport some more so we get it bigger here.
That was Victor Tomlinson, Director of the Board of Jamaica Hockey Federation. We take a break and we come back with more here on Sports Nation Live.
Nationwide 90 FM is at it again. Team Revolution will clear every hurdle and sprint to the finish line as we cover the games of the 33rd Olympiad from Paris, the city of love.
Winning by daylight and setting a world record, 9.68. The wind is okay.
Nationwide's coverage is powered by our diamond sponsor, KFC. It's finger-licking good across all locations island-wide.
Come into the parlor, there's a welcome there for you.
Welcome to the Mayor's Parlor with Desmond McKenzie.
From 1 to 6 p.m. every Sunday, you'll now get more of your favorite vintage music.
Put your head on my shoulder.
Nationwide 90 FM will transform your Sunday into a musical time machine that will take you way back.
Come with me. Let's go back in time.
This magic moment.
Journey into yesteryear with Desmond McKenzie in the Mayor's Parlor.
I've got the music to jog your memory and make you smile.
Put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the best in vintage music.
Come into the Mayor's Parlor every Sunday between 1 and 6 p.m. here on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Good evening and welcome back to Sports Nation Live. This is Alric Swaby working out with Kevin Williams on the other side of the glass, my technical operator. We have online Patrick Hay, a lacrosse player. Patrick, good evening and welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me here.
Patrick, you are a lacrosse player. You recently picked up the sport. Tell me, who introduced you to the sport?
Well, it's actually my cousin that introduced me to the sport. It's a very nice sport, rough, but when you get the hang of it, it's a great sport, similar to football.
Like I said, it's similar to football. Tell me, at first, what attracted you to the sport?
Well, honestly, I didn't like the sport at first, but when I saw my cousin playing the sport, and I'm a very competitive person myself, I said I can play it actually probably better than him, or can be a better defender that I can defend him. And so it wasn't nothing very epic. I just wanted to be a better player than my cousin. It's more like a competitive thing.
Now that you're in the sport, how are you finding it? How difficult is it? How challenging?
Difficulty. It's not that difficult. I haven't had much training sessions, but I'm getting the hang of it because I do a thing they call wall ball, to learn how to catch the ball and you can throw it at specific places. So it's okay so far. I haven't get any hardships as yet. Quite okay.
You would have played in at least one competitive match. How have you found that, and what was the match that you played in?
It's a match against upcoming players for Jamaica, because I'm playing on Jamaica's side. I don't know exactly what to say because Jamaica already have a side, but we're like another upcoming, and we have played with some younger generations that are just coming from out of school. The match was okay, but as I said, I didn't get much training, so I didn't play to my best.
After that experience, what are the areas that you think you'll have to develop? Your strength, your reflex, your speed?
Yes, and be more observant, because I went in with a intention that I could have just take the ball from the person, but he just got out of my way really easy. So I just figured that I should be more observant. Strength is everything and speed in that sport, but I already have a good amount of that, but observant would be my downfall in that.
You said you were introduced to the sport by your cousin, and it was your desire to be better than him why you would have ventured into the sport and continue. Tell me, what are some of the pointers he would have given you?
You would have given me?
Right.
Pointers. You haven't given much because basically we play in different positions, but you already tell me that if I can defend against him, I can play against most of the other people that he was playing around, because he's one of the fastest and skilled on the team. So I can play him, I can play the others. That's what he told me. So
you would have gotten a chance to work out with him just to see how much you have developed in your defensive skills.
Yes, most of the time, and he's a far off from me, and it's to be tell you, he's very far off from me, but I still try my best to do, because I have a goal. I'm trying to be just like him in case I'm playing the game, or even better.
How much time do you get to work out with him, and what are some of the areas that he has been working on?
As I say, I haven't getting a full time to really train with the coach, but I train with my cousin and sometime with the teammates. But I hope I can get to train with the coach sooner or later.
What's the challenge in terms of you getting more training time in?
Work, basically. I have to work most of the time, and the schedule is not matching up, but I'm trying to sort out something that I can work some weekends and dedicate the other weekend like to the lacrosse. So like for 2 times for the month, work 2 times for the month lacrosse. Trying to get a balance ratio.
What would be ideal training time for you to be at your best?
Ideal training time, meaning like
the amount of time you'll need to train, the length of time you'll need to train to be able to get a spot on Jamaica's team.
Well, you just have to play at your best. I would say probably, I'm not sure, probably 2 hours every week or so, 2-3 hours, just to get the feeling of the whole game and better my defense.
Technology plays a big part in preparation of athletes. How much have you used technology in terms of watching YouTube reels and to see how defenders play, see how forwards play, to know how to best defend them?
Well, as I said, I was defending in a match and he just went around me like that easy. So I went and do my research with some of the greatest lacrosse players, and I saw what I did wrong. So I use the internet and to just get a better understanding of how to defend and different styles with the stick.
You play any other sport?
No, not at the moment, but growing up, I tried boxing. I did hockey in high school, volleyball.
Now that you're playing lacrosse, do you see where you could take anything from those disciplines that can help you in your lacrosse journey?
No, probably when I used to do the rugby, because it's similar, but I think it's a little bit more dangerous because of the stick. But other than that, it's nothing much. I haven't learned as much as yet, but I'm doing my best.
You just mentioned the danger of the stick. Tell me, going in at first, did you have any fear as to getting injured or anything like that?
Well, on my side, no, but I almost injured someone because you have to know where to hit with the stick, because you cannot hit them in the head and you can't push them in the back. Because you have to set the stick a certain way. You can't push them in the back when defending. You have to be face to face when you're doing tackle. So a lot of techniques you have to use and stuff that you don't hurt others while defending or playing the game.
In football, you get warnings, yellow card, red cards, when you commit a foul or any form of infringement. What's the penalty when you commit any form of infringement in lacrosse?
I think you get a suspension from off the field for a while. When I'm playing, I haven't seen anyone get like a red card or get like sent off the field permanently for a match. It's more like a suspension. And the players can rotate around as much time as possible. You can come off the field and cool off and go back on. It's a little more advanced than football, I would say.
Which version do you prefer to play, the shorter or the longer version?
Shorter or the longer version. I would have said the longer version. Reason being, it helped me to be better at my endurance and my stamina. Because if I can play a full match playing with the long version, I would have been great.
What's your hope, what's your dream as it relates to playing lacrosse?
Well, before I didn't want to go pro level, but I figured this is something that I can do to go out in the world. I recently turned that Christian as well, so I'm hoping that it's a way that I can use to spread the gospel somehow. Because if I become a famous lacrosse player and people are watching me and I can give them a scripture or something, that will be great. It's not really about the money, but more like a goal to spread the gospel, basically.
Finally, tell me, what would you say to youngsters who would like to try the sport?
For one, it's not easy. It's dangerous if you don't play it properly. It's a very rough sport. But from you get the hang of it, it's going to be a very nice sport to play. It will get you angry at times because people will tackle you a certain way. If you don't have anger control, it will lead to something else. But from you have great anger control and you play the game properly, you can have a lot of fun.
Okay then, Patrick, again, thanks much for your time and I wish you all the best.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so that was Patrick Hay, junior lacrosse player. We take a break and come back with more here on Sports Nation Live.
This This outstanding 6'4" athlete credits Jamaica with her first Olympic victory ever.
Jamaica is filled with Olympians.
World record holder McKinley dashes into the lead.
We must never forget the forerunners of Jamaican Olympic greatness.
Coming into the home stretch, it's Wint who challenges the leader.
Win or lose, athletes never forget their Olympic experience.
Fairly Knocky has devastated another world-class field. And Hemmings is going to do it. Hemmings wins it. She's the champion. A personal...
Win or lose, Jamaicans will cheer the loudest at the Olympics so that the world will never forget who we are.
And Usain Bolt is moving away, and Jamaica retain their title, and the world record has been taken apart. Oh, I say.
From July 26 to August 11, tune in only to Nationwide 90 FM for the coverage of the 2024 Paris Olympic Games, because we're here to ensure that you never forget. Nationwide's coverage is powered by our bronze sponsors: National Road Operating and Construction Company Limited, Digicel, Grace Foods, Spirits of Jamaica, Imperial Optical Jamaica, and Rainforest Caribbean.
Get ready for a show like no other. That's right. Every Sunday from 8:15 p.m. to 9:15 p.m., we're bringing you the Harvest Hour, only on Nationwide 90 FM. Join us as we dive into a soothing religious program created for your mind, body, and soul. The World Harvest Mission Church, creators of the Harvest Hour, is dedicated to making your Sundays God-fearing and saintly. Get a front row seat to moving sermons and affectionate worshiping. That's the Harvest Hour, every Sunday from 8:15 p.m. to 9:15 p.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
Okay, good evening and welcome back to Sports Nation Live. I'm Alex Reading with Kevin Williams on the other side of the glass, my technical operator. Let us run over to the World Cup cricket, where West Indies, they're playing Uganda at the Providence Stadium in Guyana. And West Indies, at the moment, they are 48 for 1 after 5.1 overs. Brandon King, the batsman, back in the pavilion for 13. Johnson Charles, he is on 23. And Nicholas Puran is on 6. The Ugandans are yet to bat. Alpesh Ramjani has so far taken 1 wicket, the wicket of opener Brandon King. So that's where it's at as it relates to the West Indies against Uganda in the ICC T20 World Cup at the Providence Stadium in Guyana. Brandon King, the batsman, back in the pavilion on 13. Johnson Charles not out on 23, and Nicholas Puran, the wicketkeeper, is not out on 6. Well, that's all the time we have for you. It's time to say goodbye and good night, as we say thanks to Wayne Walker, Joseph Reds Pereira, Maron Gordon, Damon Lowe, Ellington Sabin, Victor Tomlinson, Christian Chuck Smith, Julian Lee, Patrick Hay, and everyone who made the broadcast possible. As on behalf of my technical operator Kevin Williams, I want to say good night and God bless. And as usual, I hope that you'll be in church on Sunday. If you don't have a local church to worship, you're welcome to worship with us at Tower Hill Missionary Church, 159 Olympic Way. As usual, God bless. Good night.
Wake up and feel Feast with Nationwide this morning as they broadcast from the CEO's Breakfast and Rebranding event hosted by the Jamaica National Agency for Accreditation, JANAC. Experience this event live as we come to you from the Talk of the Town suite at the Pegasus Hotel on June 11, 2024 from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. JANAC will unveil its refreshed brand identity and share a glimpse into its strategic